What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Tiege Hanley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Tiege Hanley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self-care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now, and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Tiege Hanley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels. What's going on, friends and family? How y'all feel today? Am I good? Is my mic clear? Is the stream clear? Is everything good? Let's make sure that we level set before we get started with the show. Y'all let me know what I'm working with, because when I leave out of town, that Wi-Fi out of town, it'd be different. It'd be different. When we talk, I'm good, clear, everything is good. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Fi Brown, my dog. All right, y'all. Everything is working. All right. All right. I had an opportunity this morning to get up a little early to make sure everything was good. But I am down here in Miami, and I will be in Miami for the next several days. Y'all need the gang? Well, we're going to be talking about it in the Patreon. Now, I had to get that beard up out of there. Your vibe sounds chill. Courtney Egger said you good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a suite. So as you can see, I got a suite. I always keep a suite. You know what I'm saying? I always keep a suite. And then I'm looking at Miami. So that's Miami out there. So I'm chilling. Got the balcony. I'm slow motion. What more can you ask for? You know what I'm saying? What more can you ask for? Life is good. Awesome. So some people said, what am I doing in Miami? I'm hanging out with Myron and Fresh. Yes, I'm hanging out with Myron and Fresh over the next week. So 8 o'clock, I think we're gonna be talking about money on Fresh and Fit. So I'll be on there tonight at 8 o'clock, and then it's tonight. I don't know if we're doing like an after hour show, but we still got the Q show tonight. All right, so let's do a little bit of housekeeping. All right, let's do a little bit of housekeeping. So first and foremost, the Q show is tonight. So yes, I do plan on being on a Q show after I leave Fresh and Fit. All right. So we doing Fresh and Fit at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight. Q show starts at 10. All right. So I might be slightly late, but I'm definitely going to be tuning into the Q show. So make sure y'all pull up to the Q show tonight. And we're going to rock out. All right. But I am going to be on Fresh and Fit at 8 p.m. tonight. Been kicking it with Myron, been kicking it with Fresh. So I told him that I was going to come to next time I was in Miami, I was stopping through. So that's why I'm here. All right. So I'm doing that tonight. Everything goes normal. In addition to that, I am going to be doing a Wednesday show. All right. So, we're going to get lit on Wednesday. Fresh and Fit, same time, I think like 8 p.m. And then we're gonna do the after hours with all of the girls. All right. So we got that all week. I'm fresh and fitting this week. But like I said, everything is still the same. After hours on Tuesday on the After Hours channel with Anton Daniels. We're doing that. Q show tonight, same thing. Um, Everything goes as normal. I'm just doing it from here in Miami and kicking it with Fresh and Fit. All right. Are you also linking with Charleston and Aiden while you down there? No, not that I'm aware of. Charleston is coming to Detroit on. I'm not telling y'all. So me and Charleston shoot new content, and that's gonna be at the end of the month. All right, me and Charleston shoot new content. That's gonna be at the end of the month. So yeah, man, we getting it in, and we gonna be working. We working everywhere we go. We working, and so that's why I'm down here in Miami. And I've been chopping it up with Charleston on the phone. So that's it. So we got that, and then we got the Patreon. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. I'll also be doing a live stream stock club. So I get back to the studio. I get back to Detroit on Thursday. So Thursday we're gonna be back doing the Millionaire Morning Show back in the city, and so I'm doing stock club this week. So we're doing stock club and part of the Patreon. We did content creation this week or last week, and we doing stock club this week. All right. So that's the layout. That's what y'all can expect this week. Let me also say this before we get started. We got seven topics that we cover in a day. Lots to cover. LA street takeovers. They carjacking people apparently over in St. Louis. Trump is deploying the National Guard to DC, and they doing a takeover over there. What else we got going on? Is it better to rent or buy? We're gonna go into that. Nvidia and AMD, they agreed to give Trump 15% or give the federal government 15% of profits of chips sold to China. So that should be interesting. So we're gonna deep dive into that. And we got a lot going on. AD looking like a sexy milk dog. I hope you're a girl though. Let me see. All right, I'll take that. I'll take that. So we got Stock Club this week, Fresh and Fit this week, all the rest of the shows this week. And I also want to thank you guys for getting me 800,000 subscribers. 800,000 on the Anton Daniels channel. I was on a plane and I was doing some work on a plane on my way down here. And I looked and it was changing into 800,000 as I was flying down here. So, last thing that I want to say to you guys before we get started to the show, because apparently now we got enough people in here to get started. I'm thinking November. What is it? August, September, October. I'm thinking that we're gonna do a meetup in November. All right. So I got to find a date. November, maybe Los Angeles and the California, Los Angeles area. So the anticipation was that we do a meetup. The next meetup was to celebrate 1 million, and it's not slowing down. It doesn't look like anything is slowing down. So we got to start planning for that, y'all. We can't drag our feet on that. So um looks like it's growing by roughly 100,000 every 26 to 28 days. We growing by 100,000 subscribers per month at this point, and the people love me. White people love me. Black people love me. The people love me. So right now, every 28 days, we pretty much rocking out at about 100,000, over 100,000 new subscribers a month. And you know what's so funny about that? And then we're gonna go ahead and start with the show. I remember when Kevin Samuels blew up. Because he was like, yo, time. He said, you got it, and you different, and your time is coming. And so just keep doing what you're doing and keep evolving. These are some of the conversations that we used to have. And I asked him, what was it like to like catch that wave where you doing 50, 60, 70, 80,000 new subscribers every month when he caught that wave from you know, from when he first caught it, when he was like, you average at best. And he was like, I can't really describe it. He said, but you're gonna really, you're gonna have to experience it for yourself. He said, I can't really describe it, but you're just gonna have to experience it for yourself. And so it's the same sentiment. People ask me, what is it like to grow over 100,000 subscribers a month? I don't think about it, to be honest with you. Somebody asked me yesterday, they was like, oh, you crossed it. Because I texted to my daughter and she was like, oh, you crossed 800,000, Dad. We gotta celebrate. I said, nah, we're not celebrating. She said, why you don't want to celebrate, Dad? I said, because we only celebrate at the number that we hit. We don't celebrate on the way up. Like we stay focused, we stay into it. So I can't really tell you how it feels because I'm not really feeling anything right now. But we gonna plan for it. So bag chasers, all of my Patreon members, all of the information for the meetup that I'm planning for probably November, maybe middle of November or something like that. We're probably gonna be out on the West Coast because I like the West Coast. So yeah, man, we on it. We on it. So we on it. I want to say I appreciate y'all and thank every single one of y'all that's been here since the beginning. For everybody, not just the people that's just now discovering, not the people that's just now rocking with me. I want to say I thank y'all for the people that's been rocking out with me since the beginning. The loyal ones, the Five Browns, the Osriels, everybody. I know it's too many of y'all to name, so I'm not even gonna tie it. I'm not gonna try it. I just appreciate y'all. I'm the same person that I was at 100,000. Before 100,000, you might have been getting liberal Anton, a little bit more liberal Anton, but it's the same. People say, Anton, you only wear black t-shirts. I got 100 of them. That's all I wear is black t-shirts and undershirts. You might see me step out a little bit if you see me in the streets or you see me on Fresh and Fit tonight. I'm the same. The more success I get, probably the more regular I dress. I got on Levi's right now. I'm the same. Ain't nothing changed. So we there. We there. All right. I appreciate you, Trey Day. All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? Somebody said, does he have TikTok? I see many pages with Mr. Anton reacting. Look, bro, the official TikTok that I have is in the description of the video. All of them other stuff, that's just people getting money and riding a wave. I don't trip off of people that create duplicate accounts on TikTok because as long as they're not trying to scam nobody, I don't trip about it. I'll let people rock out on TikTok. So ain't nothing I could do about that. Q show is tonight. We are doing a Q show tonight. And I'm going to be on Fresh and Fit at 8 p.m. Q show is at 10 p.m. All right. All right, y'all. Let's get to it. We got a lot to cover. Lots of information to cover. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all and thank y'all for continuing to hold me down. Let me read some of the super chats. Brothers Keeper says Trigger finally got married. Their photos look like Rasputia in orbit. Oh, don't do that, bro. Listen, when people get married, y'all got to just show them love, man. It's a time to joke, in my opinion, and then it's a time to play and be serious and all of that. And so when people have life events, when people get married and stuff, that's what we want. You know what I'm saying? That's what we want. So God bless her. I haven't noticed. It's the first time that I found out. God bless her. I hope that she does well. And I hope that she stays married for the entirety of her life. I hope she found the love of her life. Jay Ben says, shout out to the Courtney Egger show. 1K subs on this. Shout out to Courtney Egger. Congratulations, my friend. Jason Statham says you should do a guest appearance on one of Myron's live Miami street debates. Y'all would cause a riot. Well, I'm gonna see what he's talking about when we figuring it out. We gonna do a lot of work while I'm down here. Sarge says morning AD is Monday time to get it popping. Shout out to Sarge. Call me Mr. Bibbs. Says congrats on 800K. Thank you, Mr. Bibbs. Took the day off, four-legged baby mother. bothering me already. She should have went to work. Y'all need to fix it with y'all baby mamas, man. It's always easier. It's always easier to navigate around when you got a decent relationship with your baby mamas, man. Fix the situation with your baby mamas. Shout out to Mike that dude. I appreciate you, Mike that dude, for holding me down on Cash App. And Spencer Campbell. Thank you to Spencer Campbell. And then Devin. Shout out to Devin. Says thanks for waking me up. Cause I'm watching. I'm on it. 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 All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. All right, y'all. You said don't hold back on Fresh and Fit. All right, Saquon, let me tell you this, bro. The one thing that you can always guarantee is that I'm going to be authentically me. The one thing that I can promise you 100 times out of 100 is that I'm going to be authentically me. That's all I can be, bro. Whatever that is, wherever I'm at that time is what you're going to get authentically. All right. So I'm not trying to do extra. I'm not trying to do none of that. I'm just going to do whatever it is that's me. All right. All right. You know what I'm saying, Brittany Ellis? Facts. Facts. I have 5 Rottweilers. Yeah, that's pretty insane, bro. That's pretty nuts. All right, y'all. I'm going to read super chats throughout the show. I appreciate y'all, but I want to start this off with a video that I was kind of reviewing this weekend. And I want to share it with you guys on the Millionaire Morning Show because I think that is way more to it than what we've been sharing so far. So I'm going to play this video, and it's of this woman that said that she got fired. And I want to spend 10 minutes on this, y'all.
So my boss hands me my termination papers, and I am sitting around looking stuck. I am like, where did all this come from? So she sits me down. She tells me exactly why she's terminating me. And I'm still stunned. I can't even utter a word. And she goes, I told you that when we had a conversation the other day with HR over the phone, that for you not to tell anybody anything that we had talked about. Now, mind you, I never went and told them what it was that we were talking about, but I did, in fact, feel like I trusted some of my coworkers that I can kind of just let them know, hey, I'm in heat right now, like not in heat like that, but I'm, I'm in trouble right now and I'm trying to keep my head low. I don't want to lose my job. So if you notice that I'm real quiet and real distant, I don't want you taking any offense. That's all that I said. So when I came in today, she's handing me my termination papers. It just didn't make any sense to me because she says that I was going up to people asking them if they had a problem with me. Do you have a problem with me? Do you have a problem with me? Do you have a problem with me? That's not even what I would have said.
First thing that I want to emphasize to y'all is unless you are trying to level up in corporate America, meaning that you got to do all of the handshaking and the kissing babies, figuratively speaking, and you got to do all of the things that you know, hobnobbing, being seen a lot. Go to work, do your job, and go home. Go to work, do your job, and go home. Y'all are doing way too much. Y'all involved with y'all coworker, and I'm not saying don't be cordial, right? Because I know some of y'all so unbalanced, you'll go all the way to the left, right? I'm not saying don't be cordial, but what I am saying is be nice, even if you got problems going on at home, even if you don't want to be there, be nice, go in there and be a cultural fit, do your job, and go home. All of this extra gossiping, and it's easy, it's super easy to get involved in the BS, right? Because people is over there and they doing a bunch of stuff and you get involved in the plan. Next thing you know, you go out on a team outing and y'all exchange. The job is for this. We got a lot of our identity wrapped up in our jobs. We got a lot of the stuff that we think that we need to be doing wrapped up in our jobs. The job, we're here for this so that we can get resources and then we can do what we want to do off the clock. We're there for this Also, I want to say something else. When y'all got jobs and stuff, I know that we in the social media era. I know that we in the TikTok era. I know that y'all want to create platforms and be content creators. But let me tell you this. One of the reasons why I was liberal Anton before I retired in 2019, one of the reasons, and this is the honest to God truth, and I was very careful, and I didn't even start after hours or the Millionaire Morning Show or start to have panels or do real conversations until after I retired, is because I had to get to the bag and I had to reserve the bag. I had to make sure that I had the ability to reach my dreams, invest in everything I needed to invest in, preserve the bag, and all of this extra junk, I cut that out. I even knew that they recruited me based off of my social media presence. So I had to make sure that I was very strict and very careful on what I would say and what I didn't say, especially when you get to certain levels in corporate America, even when you're down at the bottom, because you do not have control. And y'all really need to understand that they can terminate you for any reason, especially if you say something that's not in alignment with what it is that they got going on. A lot of y'all jumping on camera, you get on there with your work uniform, y'all be doing a day in the life, and they firing people. This is not the time to be playing games. This is not the time to be playing games. Once I went all the way left, I mean all the way in, I knew it was no return. I am very much in a position and prepared to never work a regular job ever again. And if somebody recruits me like they did when I did my second stint in corporate America, they understand who I am. They knew what it is that they getting into, and I'm prepared for them to say, you know what, Anton, we recruited you, but at the same time, it's a little bit much. We can't really handle what you're doing in our climate, in our current climate. They even asked me in my last position if I wanted to level up and I wanted to get into an executive rank position again. And I said no, because I don't want to have that. I say some stuff. I say stuff that's not politically correct. I say stuff that's not politically correct. So y'all need to do y'all jobs and go home.
And that's not what I said. And so when I told her that, she kind of just ignored it. She kind of waved me off. And HR kind of chimed in and was like, yeah, you're not going to be a good fit here. So let me tell you why I got fired. Okay. The reason why I got fired is because I've realized over the years that I do not work well with others and that I was made to be an entrepreneur. I am not made to punch in somebody's clock, punch out. People tell me when to take a lunch, when not to, what to wear at work, what not to wear. I'm not made for that. I am stubborn. I am I am hard to deal with. But through my company, they have an EAP program, and I've requested to talk to a counselor because I know that I'm the issue. I know it is. But what do you do if you have to interact with coworkers who have nasty attitudes?
I've seen these type of people 1,000 times. I've seen these type of people get fired and let go 1,000 times. 1,000 times out of 1,000. Matter of fact, I'll do you one better. Um, I've seen these type of people get on PIPs, performance improvement programs. I have sent people to HR in my time because I'm not dealing with the foolishness. We too old. You too old you too old at 20. You too old at 30. You way too old at 40 to be sitting there talking about I don't work well with people. And it's always that excuse. I'm not meant to punch a clock. Shut that shit up. I'm not going for that. I don't believe nobody. And when I say nobody, I don't believe anybody that says that I'm not too good to punch or you know what I meant. I'm not meant to punch a clock. I'm meant to do my own thing. Let me tell you what that translates into. That means I don't get along with people, and I wouldn't be good as an entrepreneur either because that is more people focused and front facing and customer service than even dealing with people on a regular job. And because I don't want to work on myself or my bad attitude and my gossiping, then I'm just gonna say I'm not meant to work in corporate America, and I'm just a difficult person to work with. I'm not meant to punch nobody's clock. You know what punching the clock means? It means that I can make money. It means that I get benefits. It means that I get a 401k. It means that I get healthcare coverage. That's all punching the clock means to me. I can punch a clock or I can do my own thing. Either way. But my point is that there is no barrier to entry for me going to get the bag. My identity is not wrapped up in what I do for a living. My identity is wrapped up in how I extract the bag and what it is that I trade my time for. I'm not caught up in this what's your position, what you do for a living, none of that type of stuff. When people say, Anton, you need to be humble, they talking about the way that I talk on this internet stuff. In life, I will shovel rubber dog doo-doo. I will drive an Uber. I don't care what I need to do to put myself in a position to get a bag. I'm always going to try to level up, but let's be clear. I'm exchanging time for resources. All of that other stuff is that social norm, social media nonsense that y'all caught up in. My job is to make sure that my daughter goes to school and she can get her college paid for and that the house is paid off and I ain't got no debt. All of that other stuff, somebody says stop lying. Boy, I just retired for a second time from corporate America in 2024, at the end of 2024. When everybody told me that, oh man, I can't believe you taking a position in corporate America again. I can't believe you getting a job. Nigga, who too good for a job? If there's one person on the internet that will definitely do what I got to do to go and get the bag, it's me. It's the you know who the people are that's so caught up in positions. It's the poorest people. The poorest people are the ones that have the biggest perspective on they'll tell you what they ain't gonna do. The poorest people are the ones that will tell you what they not gonna do. I ain't, bruh. When I opened up when I first opened up my first restaurant, I worked it too. I was down in the back. I would put an apron on. I would change the oil, the fryer oil, taking orders, putting pans in, seasoning chicken. Man, I do it. Man, what you talking about? I don't have no pride at all. Even when it comes to this content creation stuff, a lot of people be like, man, how many people you got working for you? You see somebody in here? Is it something I'm not familiar with? Me, my book bag, my laptop, cell phone. I ain't got no big equipment. Man, how do you film your videos like this? With the back camera? What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate y'all for continuing to rock with me. Man, we out here in these streets. That's how I film my videos. Back camera. What's going on is that, man, I don't. It's Nipsey Hustle over here. All money in, no money out. All money in, no money out. How do you get it? Me. What are you going to do? Me. Work, grind, hustle, go get to it. It's always the brokest people that's afraid to get their hands dirty or going to tell you what it is that they ain't going to do.
Like, I know that I take things personally because I do. I take everything that comes my way personal. I live my life in a respectable manner. I approach people with respect. The only way that I disrespect you is if you're disrespectful to me first. That is the only way. Also, another thing that I've realized too, the people that I work with are in their 20s. I'm in my 40s.
What does that mean?
They have not lived. They don't know anything about life yet. They're just getting into the real world. They don't.
You know what else I realized too? I realized that it's some smart young people. It's some smart young people. I'll give y'all a secret. I got a 17-year-old daughter. For the past 5 years, on a lot of the different ideas that I come up with, especially even when it comes to content creation or when it comes to making a move and stuff, one of the first people I tap into is I go to my daughter. Hey Les, I got this idea. What do you think? Me and my daughter came up with a new idea yesterday. Well, actually we came up with it before, but we started to work on it. Before I took my flight here, we were working on putting together a customization shop for cars. And we was talking about how she would probably oversee the day to day. I would oversee the marketing aspect of it. It's some smart young people, bro. It's some smart young people. Bruh, a good idea is a good idea. A smart move is a smart move. A wise person is a wise person. I don't limit nothing. Nothing. Y'all ain't even lived life. Yeah, you ain't lived life when it came to being able to tell me about a relationship. But as far as your ability to be able to put that project together, or you know what I'm saying, come up with a great idea when it comes to what it is that we doing on this work type stuff. And I don't know, I'm all ears. I'm all ears. You might not be able to tell me how give me a life coach because you're 23, but you definitely can tell me how to do my job more effectively if you got some insight. 100%. 100%.
Know anything about life. So they wouldn't even be able to comprehend. But I will say, for my own sake, no, I don't work well in a team environment. No, I don't like pettiness. When I say pettiness, I'm talking about smiling in your face, talking about you behind your back, and people who throw rocks and glass houses. I don't like people like that. Those two personality types, I cannot.
I'm not gonna beat a dead horse. All right. So long story short, just put the fries in a bag, and let's keep it moving from there. Because if y'all get to the point where you saying throwing rocks in a glass house and stuff like that, you've already shared too much of your personal life with your coworkers. Um, I shouldn't know nothing about you. I shouldn't know about what your eating habits are. I don't want to know what your sexuality is. I don't want to know how many kids you got. I don't want to know nothing, honestly. I'm not even going to share anything. You're not going to know anything about me. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Just put the fries in the bag and let's keep it moving. But my point is that y'all going to have to be able to separate your personal life from your work life. Separate. Women got this bad and y'all getting let go, y'all getting fired, and they not having no mercy on y'all, and they don't care about how you feel about it. And you are going to be putting those fries in the bag. Y'all better check them attitudes at the door. And if you are a difficult person to work with, you are absolutely going to be held accountable, and companies are not playing that nonsense anymore. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning on notifications. Let me read some of these super chats. Just wanted to start the show off with that. Demetrius Shaw says Stock Club is always dope, but we have a mastermind for Stock Club so we can ask all of our questions. Yeah, we can do that. We can set that up. Absolutely, Demetrius. A Black Beauty says, y'all talking about Trigger getting married. We don't care. Hashtag Chivito, 25, DeVito, and Chioma. Interesting. Interesting. So y'all saying it's marriage season. Skinny Boy Django Morrison says, one of the many things I loved about Kevin Samuels is that he helped me discover AD. Shout out to you. Sarge, Life and Motorcycling says, just realize where you at. Just left Miami yesterday, was at a backyard party event for my biker community. Enjoy MIA. Man, MIA, let me tell you about MIA. It's cool. It's humid. It's humid. Miami is a winter place. You got to come to Miami in the winter. You got it. Miami in the winter is great. It's awesome. Miami in the summer is cool. It's dope. Los Angeles is better, or not even Los Angeles. California, places in California, weather-wise, is better than Miami in the summertime. Weather-wise, the Midwest is better than Miami in the summertime because it's humid. It's humid here. You said Miami is the best city in the United States of America. You smoking crack. You smoking crack. I disagree. I disagree. I disagree. I think that different places got different things for different reasons. Miami is dope in the wintertime. It's one of the best cities to ever visit in the wintertime. But the summertime, especially during hurricane season, nah. August, September, October, you might be in trouble, bro. You might be in trouble. Shout out to you, Sarge. Obi says a common misconception is the belief that entrepreneurs are independent. Entrepreneurs are interdependent. They are. You 100% right. You're not at your most profitable or productive when you are alone. Mike Moore says, "What happened with Tim Pool? I was waiting to see the video. Also, first time donating, keeping it up." I talked about that. What was that? Last Monday? I talked about it last Monday. It didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. And so everything kept going wrong and we kept having to reschedule and all of that stuff. And so I went with my leading and I decided that it wasn't a good thing for me to do that. So I just kind of bowed out. But shout out to them. Ain't nothing wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. JJ says for your garlic knots over in Wimp. How you know? You remember that? It's a hood spot that people don't know that I got here in it ain't in Wynwood though. It's not in Wynwood. I was hanging out in Wynwood and I stayed over near the design district, but it's a spot that got some of the dopest wings and garlic knots and all of that. It's kind of a hood spot. It's kind of a hood spot. All right. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the next part of the show. A couple local stories that I want to share with y'all before we get into the takeover in DC. So, St. Louis. St. Louis. Brown girl in America know that I was thinking about coming to St. Louis sometime soon. I got to figure it out. I got to figure it out. Hotel Wi-Fi messing up? I'm sorry about that. But I got to figure it out. I have to figure it out because it's hard for me to go into some of these cities if y'all are not safe. I can't bring my high value self to y'all cities if the YNs is out here carjacking people. I don't think that I'm gonna visit Memphis. I really wanted to visit Memphis and check out the barbecue. I really wanted to come and see what's happening in Memphis. I won't let you stay downtown. I do. I want to come and visit some of these places, maybe even invest in some of the infrastructure there because I think it's a great opportunity, but it's hard. I can't go to Memphis. I can't. You know, I want to, but the older I get, the more Ruben Pfefferish I become, and it's hard for me to justify being able to fly into a city. I was talking to a guy that came to Detroit for a football game, and he said that he was from Memphis, and I said, "What's going on?" "Oh man, it's rough, bro. I love it here. I didn't expect for it to be like this, but Memphis, man, they need some changes in leadership. They need this, they need that." I said, "So you saying don't come to Memphis?" He said, "Not yet. We got to figure it out. Not yet." He was a black guy. He was a black guy. Anton, do you own any pets? Um, yeah, my girl. Feisty cat in the bedroom. Anyways, I'm gonna read some of y'all super chats in a minute, but let me share with y'all what's happening over here in Memphis. We're gonna spend a couple minutes on it. and we're going to get there.
Now in the city, a 16-year-old is in custody. He's been busted 2 nights in a row, police say, for leading officer chases. And both times, they tell us he was driving a stolen car that was taken from a rideshare driver at gunpoint. This latest carjacking happened around 2 this morning in North City near Carter and Newstead. And the carjacking the night before occurred north of there around Newstead and Carter. First Alert 4 Shoshana Stahl has been following the story for us. And Shoshana, even police say they're getting frustrated at the criminal justice system.
Lauren, they are. And at this hour, police tell me they're looking for the other kids involved in this latest carjacking. They ran from police this morning. Today's crime happened around 2 a.m., and that's well after curfew for teens. Police say they're looking into potentially citing the parents. But after 2 nights in a row of being targeted, rideshare drivers say this just reinforces their safety concerns.
Nothing's going to change when there are zero consequences.
Rideshare driver David Woods is frustrated and disheartened to hear another driver was held at gunpoint by teens and then carjacked.
Even though you're a kid, your actions still have very, very real consequences.
St. Louis police say around 2 a.m. Thursday, a Lyft driver picked up several teens at North Newstead and Carter in North City. While driving, one of the passengers held a gun to the driver and demanded he get out of the car. At some point, the car was found and police started chasing. The 16-year-old driver taken into custody and remains there. Police say the kid is the same driver from the carjacking of an Uber driver turned police pursuit Tuesday night.
Now, think about this for a second, y'all. Think about this for a second. Then I was telling people on the Anton Daniels channel, I said, when I was coming up in the 90s, carjacking was a serious offense. Carjacking was almost as bad as killing somebody. They was giving out football numbers back in the 90s. I know in Michigan and Detroit, they was giving out football numbers for carjacking. And a lot of times, the only reason that I think that they backed off a little bit from the really, really strict penalties on carjacking, check this out. This is how bad it was, right? Carjacking was so bad. How do I know? Because I got carjacked. I have carjacked. I probably can pull up the police report. I need to go and figure out if I can pull up that old police report. But the reason that I think that they kind of eased up off of it as far as giving out football numbers for carjacking is because the criminals started to find out that they was giving out such heavy penalties if you got caught for carjacking that they would just kill the person that you was carjacking. The criminals found out that they was giving out such heavy numbers when they got caught carjacking. So in order to make sure that they felt like they wouldn't get caught with any witnesses, they would just kill everybody or kill the person a lot of times, even if the person gave up their car willingly. That's how bad it was. So to think that this kid, 16 years old, driving around in a car, or not, driving around in a Stoli, right? The Stoli that they carjacked, a rideshare driver, 4 of them in a car, YNs. I wouldn't even pick them up in the first place. I've talked to Uber drivers and Lyft drivers, and I say, yeah, man, how's your day going? Oh, man, I risked it. I went and took a ride down in such and such place. They'll name whatever the neighborhood is. And I said, how'd that go? Man, I don't think I can do it again. Why? What happened? I think that they was transporting guns, and so they called a Lyft ride. They called the Uber driver. Dude was standing on the porch, and he was like this. And I said, hey, your Uber is here. He said, who that? Who that in the car? He said, man, I can't do it, bro. I can't do it. And we used to complain back in the hood. We used to complain that you couldn't get no cabs. I come from an older era. The cabs did not pick up in the hood. The cabs back in the day did not come to you can call a cab company. It was a checker cab company. It was a yellow cab company. Hey, I need a cab to this place, to this place. You're just going to have to walk and try to catch the bus. You're going to have to figure out what the bus system is, because the cab companies, a lot of them drivers, they would not come to the hood. They would tell you, yeah, we'll be there in an hour. They not coming. They're not coming. And the reason why y'all can't get no rides or you can't get no any kind of food desert, every single store you go up in, it's got a big old thick 10-inch plexiglass on it and stuff like that, is because you don't know how to act. If you want to know why you get treated the way that you do, is because you don't know how to act at all. At all. You don't know how to act. And so this guy, he carjacks a Lyft driver or whatever it is that he got to do. He carjacks somebody. His parents get him out. First of all, they didn't catch the other three of them apparently, or they parents get him out, and then he going car. How do you even get out for a carjacking, bro? How do you get out? You shouldn't be getting bond. But I've learned. I'm gonna tell you why he got out. Check it out.
The same driver from the carjacking of an Uber driver turned police pursuit Tuesday night.
If they are committing the crimes at 16, who knows what they will be doing at 26 if they make it to 26.
These two crimes happening only a mile apart from each other. The 4 juveniles involved in the first carjacking were released to their guardians.
I think they're frustrated for the victims who don't have to be victims. There was a 36-year-old man last night that did not have to have a gun put to the back of his head. Our officers see this. They see it. They feel the pain. They feel the trauma that a victim goes through, and they see how easily preventable it could have been.
In Missouri, there's a point system to charge juveniles and a certain amount of points needed to be held on that crime.
These liberal cities, because listen, it's not the police officers. The police officers are like military members. They on the front lines. Often at times, the police officers show up after the crime has already happened because they can't arrest you for something that you didn't do. So the police officers do their job. They come and track you down. Tackle them. Put them in cuffs. The police officers come and tackle you. They got to worry about Black Lives Matters and D.L. Hughley talking stuff about them if anything ever happens where you get overly aggressive and you tackle them and then they break their ankle because they was running from you, then they're going to try to sue you. All right? Police officers do their job. They get them into the facilities. They arrest them. They get them into the juvenile detention centers. The judges and all of these liberal people, they say, you know what? Let's develop a point system. You mean like GTA? You don't automatically go to 4 to 5 stars. You go 1 star, get out, 2 stars, get out, 3 stars, get out. So you can get out with no bond. They release them back to the parents that let them out in the streets in the first place. They go back outside and then they get to carjacking again. Ain't y'all tired, bro? Ain't y'all tired? Don't send me nothing else talking about the community. Don't send me anything else saying, Anton, I want you to react to this, or what about when white people do it? You 13% of the population and your kids commit over 50% of the crimes. Over 50% of the violent crimes. Let me be specific. 13% of the population, more than 15% of the violent crimes, or more than 50% of the violent crimes. What you want them to do? What you want us to do? What you want us to do? Huh? How do you suggest we solve for you being 13% of the population, 50% of the violent crime? End it all. End it all, Aaliyah. End it all. End it all. They got to start arresting the parents. When you're going to think twice before you have a kid. I want the parents fighting their children before the police. No, ain't no you just walking out, the police gonna, no. Because see, if you know that your little nigga gonna get arrested if he head outside, no, y'all gonna be fighting. Tussle with him, fight with him. No, listen, I'ma deal with you unless the police deal with you, because they ain't coming to arrest me. They not coming to arrest me. You got to start holding these parents accountable for their children. I don't care what the woke mob say. I don't care what woke culture say. I don't care how much they trying to finesse us into believing that they know what they talking about and all of that. If you knew that you was going to be held accountable after you go and pick your child up from jail, that you was going to be held accountable for what they did, you would be hell on earth strict about defending the world against your kid. You would be hell on earth about defending the world against your kid. If more parents were held accountable, we wouldn't have so many of them in the jail system. Because I'll be damned if my kid is out there. Wait, what? Nope. Who you going out there with? Sharkeisha? You can't hang with Sharkeisha. Dad, I mean, I'm not going to do. Nope. Because Sharkeisha is, you know what's going to happen with Sharkeisha. What's going to happen with Sharkeisha? She going to have 3 baby daddies. She going to be pregnant. Nope, you can't hang out with her because I'm not going to jail for you. If you knew that you were going to be fined, sent to jail, your kid get caught in the car, you lose your license. Your kid get caught driving a car, stealing cars, okay, you got to lose your license and you got to go to whatever the punishment for the kid is, the parent got to deal with also. Whatever the punishment for the child, you would have to deal with it also. All of y'all would have y'all kids in order. All of y'all would have y'all kids. Wouldn't be no crime on the streets. Because the one thing I know about the ratchets is that as they get older, they're not really trying to go to jail because they still got to hit the streets, baby. You will be way more careful with who it is that you had children with. Way more careful. Man, you listen, let me tell you something. You cut out all of them food stamps, you cut out the welfare, you cut out all of that, you cut out the support system, you just kick the kickstand from under it, and you let people fend for themselves. Let me tell you 2 things that's going to happen. The first thing that's going to happen is people going to still figure out a way to be able to survive. One thing I know about people is they are resilient. We are survivors. I'm a survivor. That now you don't want to listen to that song on Beyonce. One thing, they're going to figure out how to feed themselves. I don't care if they sell box. I don't care what you're doing. You're going to figure out how to feed yourself. And the second thing they're going to do is they're going to start being very careful with who it is that they lay down with. We enable bad behavior. Here's free condoms. Use them. Take that condom, hit you in your eye with it, and then bend over, bust it down for a real one. Let that nigga give her AIDS. It's because y'all come up with solutions. Oh, listen, we got prep for you to keep your viral load down. In the 90s, we seen Magic Johnson was like, oh, Magic Johnson got the monster. People didn't even want to play basketball with Magic Johnson. That's why he left. Magic Johnson didn't voluntarily retire. Magic Johnson, nobody wanted to check him. Kept on letting him go to the whole finger roll. It's the Magic Man. No. It's the Lakers. The Lakers are wonderful. The Lakers are wonderful. Finger rolling to the hole. He was fat in the NBA. Put him on a dream team. Let him ride the bench. Ain't nobody want to check Magic Johnson because ain't nobody wanted to scratch him because they thought that they was going to get A's if they scratched him. Everybody thought that they was going to get A's because they scratched Magic Johnson. The Magic Man. He went, he did a talk show. He was on like late night BT or something like that. He was trying to be like the next Arsenio Hall. Y'all may not be familiar with all of this, but I'm gonna bring y'all up to speed. Magic Johnson, if Magic Johnson can go through a rebrand and he can if Magic Johnson can get AIDS, get kicked out of the league, but check it out. Check out what Magic was able to do. Magic Johnson is heralded as one of the greatest people in our community. Magic Johnson went through a whole rebrand. He didn't even get divorced. Him and Cookie was still, they went to have some more kids. They got EJ. EJ is 9 feet tall and wearing heels. Okay. Looking just like Magic Johnson. Big backed and wearing heels. Magic Johnson has some more kids. He stayed married and he got richer. And he's pedestalized in the community. If Magic Johnson can make it, you can. That's my life lesson. Anytime I feel like that I'm down and out and life is hitting me and beating me up, and maybe too many people is talking about me negatively, and oh my God, I'm not feeling myself. I just look at a picture of Magic Johnson. This nigga's alive. He's shooting basketball on a yacht with his big self. He able to overcome AIDS, a sassy son. He stayed married and he got richer. And he became a part of the Dodgers. And he was a part of the Lakers ownership group. And he's still doing interviews and everybody act like he ain't got HIV. I said, well, listen, if Magic can make it, if Magic can rebrand, I'd be damned if I can't get 1 million subscribers. That's my motivation. No, it ain't nothing but Magic. Magic got me on a pathway to 1 million subscribers. Magic is playing basketball on the yacht in the sun. He ain't lost no weight and he supposedly got HIV. Ain't lost a pound. Just dribbling. I know I can win. Nigga. You can overcome anything in life. That's what Magic taught me. All right. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm. I don't know how we got there, but we got there. You know what we do over here on the Millionaire Morning Show. I don't know. If you asking me how do we get to Magic Johnson and how do we tie it back? Oh, holding your kids accountable. Holding your kids accountable. I don't know how we got there. Oh, yeah. AIDS, HIV, Magic Johnson, checking them in the NBA. All right, I got it. We there. All right. Y'all ready to go on to the next thing? He owns Starbucks, all kind of stuff. Shout out to me. I appreciate you, me. Thank you, baby girl. Winnie J. Stew in the building. Winnie J. Stew is in the building. He probably still got hoes. Winnie J. Stew says, 80, when you worked for the steel mill, did you see a lot of welders? And did you weld? Plasma cutting, fabrication. I've recently falling in love with the welding process. The only welding that I did, I didn't physically do any welding. So what we did was I worked on the pickling lines. The pickling lines is the acid purification process in order to clean the steel. It goes in it goes into the acid vat, it runs through, and we chop off the sides in order to make it, and we roll it into one big coil, and we ship it off into the next process. The only welding that I did was, so you got the back end and then the front end, right? The back end is where we load it into the machine. So we got to unwrap the coil and we reload it into the machine. So it's a 3-step process. You load it into the machine. The next person go in and they chop off the front of it, and they chop off the back of the last coil. So then they weld it together in order to pull it through the acid purification process, right? So you will load it into the machine, chop off the front of this one, chop off the back of the last one, and then the next person would weld it together through the machine. So it goes through and it welds it. You got to double check, look at the weld, It goes to the acid purification process. It goes to the front end. The front end got the inspectors. They looking at the cameras to make sure that it's going through right, that nothing breaks off. Sometimes those coils, if they're not welded together right, they can break off. Then you got to get the crane operator. You got to fish that junk out and then re-weld it and all of this stuff. But yeah, they go through and then they chop off the front of it and then they wrap it back up in a coil and then they band it together. So that's the only welding that I did was through that machine, where you welded it together in order to run it through the vat and then send it back out. So yeah. If you fall in love with the process, embrace it. Mike got something there. 392Q says the crazy part is that they caught the YN who carjacked the first time. They caught him the second time. Same thing happened. Happened right by your mom. P. Shank in the building says, good morning, Anton Daniels in the Millionaire Morning Show. Thank you, P. Shank. Yeah. What's going on? What's happening? Chris Monroe, St. Louis says, I drove a taxi here in St. Louis in the late 2000s. Several drivers got killed for money. I would not pick up on the north side. Nope. Okay, so you're saying if I go to St. Louis, I'm still thinking about coming to St. Louis. I think y'all got like some good barbecue or something. Chris Cunningham says cabs and Chinese deliveries ain't coming. Facts. Are you scared to talk to the YNs? I have no issues with them. No, I'm not scared. I'm just smart. What is there to talk about? You want me to go and chase them down? Hey, YNs, why y'all out here carjacking? You do it. You do it. I don't associate myself with the bottom rung of society. Their parents should have raised them better. Just a brown girl in America says, learn who these judges are and vote them out. Now, you know that the community only got a 6% voter turnout rate. Ain't nobody voting in the hood. Daily discourse with our tour. Black people don't believe that voting matters. Worse than a community, the least engaged and never believe in anything. Daily discourse with Arturo says they pretend that Magic Johnson had HIV so people would stop saying only gay people get HIV. Basically, look, a straight black man got it too. Who told y'all that he's straight? You believe that? I don't know what he is. If you had, listen, if you told me, Anton, you got to put all the money in the world on it of whether or not he has ever messed with a man, I would bet against him. I would bet against him. Listen, don't fall for the propaganda at all. Don't fall for the propaganda at all. Listen, that is a sassy man's disease. Is it possible that a heterosexual man can get it? Absolutely. Do I believe that overwhelmingly the majority of men that get it are heterosexual? I do not. I don't. For whatever reason, you think that he's a straight man. I don't believe that. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit, bro. Rob Tate 33 says, what do you do or did you do to find your career when you don't know what you want to do and your passions you don't have to pay? I didn't pick my career in corporate America based off of my passion. I picked my career based off of how I can make a bunch of money. My career picked me based off of this. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all, listen. Rob, you do your passion on the side. You do the thing that makes you the most money in the meantime. Do your passion when you get off work. I picked what I was going to do based off of how I can get to the bag. I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't picking nothing. You said you'd never hire AD. You ain't never got to worry about that because I don't need you. I don't need you to hire me. As a matter of fact, you already hired me because you in here and you subscribed right now. So you giving me money. How about that? I want to call you something else, but I ain't going to say it right now because it's Monday. I'm trying to limit it for the daycare. I'd never hire AD. Boy, you the one that's going to ask me for a job. You need the job, not me. You need the job, not me. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about it. I got people beating down my door right now. Just told y'all about my old manager that I just ran into. I would never hire AD. Boy, you got an Oakland Athletics profile picture. You ain't got to worry about hiring nobody. You the last person that got to worry about hiring somebody. I promise you. And you in Oakland. Y'all don't even have a team. Y'all not even the Athletics no more. Y'all going to Vegas. You don't even have a team, bro. They building it right where the Tropicana used to be. That's where they about to build y'all stadium. Right at the Tropicana. You ain't got the Golden State Warriors. You ain't got the Oakland Athletics. You ain't got the Raiders. Y'all don't have no team. You don't even have a team. Boy, you going to be picking up trash on the side of the street. You ain't got a mayor. They just ousted y'all mayor, Shang Tsung. Y'all being investigated. You got National Guard troops coming in trying to eradicate homelessness. You ain't gotta worry about none of that. None of that at all. And I wouldn't take your $13 an hour job anyway. You can't afford me. You couldn't afford me. Listen. I don't even get paid no more in regular money. I'm only taking cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, and equity. You couldn't even pay me if you wanted to. You couldn't pay me. You can't afford me. You could never afford me. I don't even know how much money I got in my own pocket. How much money I got? Let me see something. They call me the rubber band man. That's for sure. I would never hire AD. Boy, do I look like I got on a $50,000 watch. Do I look like that I need your job? I'm the hiree. Got this old 100 in here. Give me a second. Got that old 100 right there. Do I look like Sir, do I look like, I get that old 100 out there. Do I look like I need your job? Huh? Do I look like I'm in a position to need high? Do I look like I ever need anything from anybody? Hmm? Hmm? Boy, y'all gonna learn. You gonna learn. So life savings right here, nigga. Right here. Life savings. Show life savings right here, nigga. You don't know nothing about that. You got ones in your stuff. We don't do that over here. Anyways, y'all ready to get on with the next part of the show? Oh man. Oh, don't worry about it though, because you ain't gotta worry about it. It's another 100 right there. All right. And then I got another. Let me cover that up. And then we got another 100 right there. All right. See these cards? Hear them? And I always gotta go to my hotel card. We got another 100 right there. See that? Not that plastic. Not that plastic. I need to be focused. I can't be getting distracted. Can't get distracted. I am broke. I'm tapped. To be honest with y'all, that's just play. Honestly, this is prop money. This is prop money. This is all. Honestly, I'm tapped. Seriously, in real life, I'm being honest. I'm being super honest. I'm tapped. I am tapped. I need $1. Can somebody spare me $1? Let me show you what's in my savings, bro. And we're gonna get on with the show. That's what I got, man. That's all I got, bro. I'm tapped. I am tapped. If anybody can help me with my savings, the way my savings and my checking is set up, if anybody can help me with this, I appreciate you. So that's the truth. I know I be stunting on here and I be playing and stuff like that. I got $1 in my savings. $1 in my savings. You don't need to see no brokerage account. We ain't talking about that. I said my savings account. I said my savings account is rough. It's rough out here. Y'all think I can help Umar Johnson? How much? I heard Umar Johnson needs some help. Y'all think I can help Umar Johnson? What's my spending summary? Because what is that? What just happened? Why did my thing fail? They're not charging? We back? Good thing I got drawers on. Good thing I got pants on. Jesus. If I ain't had no pants on, that would have been bad. What y'all think about let me see something. What I'm working with. I heard Umar Johnson need like 50,000. Remember when Umar Johnson turned down my 50,000? I already need like 50. I already need like 50. I could be off though. What Umar Johnson doing? Dog, I spent like $228,000 last month. Dog, this is crazy. Look, this is my Chase account. See that for July 2025 right here? I spent $228 last month. That's crazy. I'm about to wrap this up. I can't keep doing this. I'm way over budget. I heard Umar is out here tapped out. I can give him one of these. If I give him one of these, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about buying FDMG. Where's FDMG at? Where's the school at? Thinking about buying it. I heard they got an auction. Just to be petty. Just to be petty. I heard they got an auction. Is it an auction? Before we get to the next part of the show, somebody told me that it's an auction for FD. It's in Philly. Maybe I'm thinking, maybe I should open up a school. Oh, I heard it's an auction for the school. Is that true? It's a sheriff's auction? We so petty. We so petty. We different now. Because they used to just do a diss song on over a beat or something. Now we just buy you. We buy your house. We'll buy your building. You know what I'm saying? We doing all kind of stuff. What would we call a school if we bought the school, y'all? Peace and Pan-Africanism. Peace and Pan-Africanism. I'm thinking about buying the school. And then I'm going to paint all of the walls white like snow bunnies. Snow White. It's in Wilmington, it's in Delaware. All right, listen, somebody get me the information on the sheriff's auction. Tell me when it is. I heard it's coming up soon. Somebody send me the information for the sheriff's auction, and I'm going to see if I can make a business case out of it, and maybe we can get some of these kids educated, all right? Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel with turning your notification. I'm going to continue to read Super Chat shortly, but we got to get to the next part of the show. All right? I'm distracted. No distractions, all right? No distractions. We got to go over to Los Angeles, and then we're going to go ahead and tap into what Trump got going on over in D.C., all right? Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm. Stock Club on the Patreon this month. Stock Club, we coming up with on the Patreon this week. Matter of fact, Stock Club, all right? This one is for J Ben, because J Ben, he liked to be a speed demon. You know what I'm saying? He liked to be out here in these streets. That's what J Ben like. But people are fed up. They sick of it. Los Angeles residents are sick of it. They're sick of all of the street takeovers. And I heard that they doing burnouts in front of Crypto Arena. I heard that they doing burnouts in front of Crypto Arena. Somebody tell me that ain't true.
Now at 10, mayhem in the streets of downtown LA in the middle of the night. Residents are angered by the weekly loud and dangerous intrusions into their lives. Homeowners and business owners want police to do something to stop the illegal street takeovers like the one near the Crypto Arena this morning.
Yeah, at times, dozens of cars have taken part in the takeovers that attract large and rowdy crowds. KTLA's Chris Wolf joins us live from Hollywood with the story. Chris.
Yeah, John and Karine, some of the people I spoke with tonight who live right there in downtown LA tell me they have PTSD from all of the madness and mayhem surrounding these endless street takeovers and fireworks shows, which often happen in the middle of the night.
So y'all in front of Crypto Arena? It used to be called the Staples Center. So y'all out here making Kobe's legacy look bad. So y'all doing burnouts in front of Kobe's statue, in front of Crypto Arena. Look at all of them. Listen. Do y'all want to know? Karen Bass. Karen Bass. You want to know how to solve for this problem? I'm going to do a separate video deep diving into this later. You want to know how to solve for this problem, Karen Bass? Do you want to fix this? I will tell you how to fix this. I'll tell you how to fix this. This is how y'all solve for the problem of them taking over entire streets, and the Los Angeles Police Department don't even do anything anymore because they know that y'all not going to do nothing. All right. This is how y'all got to do it. When you identify these people, go out there and arrest them one by one by one by one by one. When you find out who they are, charge their parents. When you listen. This is how you hold people accountable. You have to charge their parents. Charge their parents. If y'all don't hold their parents accountable, it's nothing that y'all gonna be able to do. If you start charging parents and keeping the parents coming to court every other week, and they got to miss work because they got to go to court, and they got to start doing jail time, sit their parents down for first offense, 5 days, 5 business days plus a weekend. Once you hit 18, you got to do at least 30 days mandatory. Ain't no first offense. Bro, when you start putting out this stuff and you just even announce it, when they announce the super speeder law in Florida, they not messing around with y'all. First offense, that's the first thing I thought of. You know what I said when I got here this time? I don't even want a car. Black truck me everywhere I go. I'm black trucking or I'm walking because I don't even want a car. I don't even want to get on the highway. I don't even want to be in the same space as black truck. I'm going to just get a driver because I don't want to even be involved. I know who I am. I like to drive fast and I'm okay with being held accountable, but not that accountable. You do a mandatory 30 days in jail, no nothing. If they're above 18 and you start tying these parents up in court, everybody gonna be held accountable. They're gonna be mad whining on social media. I can't believe it. Hefe and them, because this most of them people, if you look at it, that ain't even black kids. The black kids commit crimes in St. Louis, Chicago, so on and so forth. In Los Angeles, is Hefe and them. Jesus and Hefe and them. Deport them right with their parents. Oh no, I can't believe you. Who's out there? You out there? That's the Asian people. You out there? Oh, thinking you Dominic Toretto? Oh no. Not looking to go back to Korea. Not looking to go back to Korea. No, not looking to go back to Korea. Hey, Holmes, your mom's told me that you over here thinking you Dominic Toretto. They said you was in front of Crypto, Holmes. They said you was in front of Crypto, Holmes. Driving stories, Holmes. They said you think you Hector. Huh? I tell you what, Holmes. I'm going to crack you in your face this time. Me and the homies. If I catch you in here doing this again, Holmes, guess what? It's not going to be good for you. Not going to be good for you. Y'all gonna have to start getting these kids in order. And the way that you do it is that you're gonna have to make sure that you hold the parents accountable. Because she gonna find out where to go get the uncles. She gonna find out where to go get all of them. Hey, Holmes, Russ from the crew over here. They said you over there driving in front of Crypto Arena, Holmes. Yeah, say, yeah, come over here. Let's talk for a minute. I'm messing around with y'all. They not messing around with y'all. But no, y'all want to let them go on. Let them drive over in Crypto Arena.
Here we go again. Engines revving, vehicles spinning, rubber burning, fireworks exploding. These are the sights and sounds of the latest street takeover in downtown Los Angeles near Crypto Arena. Witnesses reported as many as 50 drivers participating in the illegal yet pervasive and persistent pastime converging at the intersection of Figueroa and 12th Streets around 3 a.m., offering spectators and the community burnouts and donuts, but not the kind most people enjoy for breakfast.
I'm very sensitive to noise, so obviously I got to go check out what it was, and then hearing the loud explosions and realizing that's fireworks, just
look at the intersection.
Nonstop cars coming in.
Look how burnt up the intersection is. They done scraped off all of the white paint, everything.
Now more people started gathering. It can be very traumatic, or you're waking up to explosions. You don't know if it's a bomb or whatever it may be. Fireworks stayed on the ground, but
Errol Moore lives in a high-rise apartment building near the hell-raising hotspot.
Matt, look at that. Can you imagine? Because in Los Angeles, the prices is crazy. So you living in a high rise, you probably paying $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month If you at the penthouse, you might be paying 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, maybe even $20,000 a month. Can you imagine the advertisement were right across from crypto? Right across from crypto. And this is the nonsense that you got to deal with. You got to wake up and you dealing with burnouts and the police can't even do anything.
Rep and brand manager for designer eyewear was expecting a higher quality of life when he moved here. He didn't find it, and after several sleepless nights, is ready to move.
Whether city officials can put together a plan to kind of slow it down and get these people in a different direction as far as, maybe get in the gym, find another hobby. I don't know, like find another thrill, but because you're literally impacting everybody around you.
I thought it was warfare going on, 3 o'clock in the morning. My younger side of me says that was pretty cool. My more mature side of me says pretty dangerous.
Yeah, because he's just a visitor. He's not even living there.
LAPD officers responded, and officials say cops were able to clear the area. Apparently, no one was cited or arrested.
Y'all, do y'all hear this? They don't care, and they're going to move to a different location because nobody is arrested, nobody is cited, nobody is held accountable. And do you know why the police don't do it? Because the police don't have the backing of the mayor, they don't have the backing of the legislators, they don't have strong judges. Everybody got to work together. Nobody was cited. All the police did was go and say, "Hey, everybody, look, we're out. We're out. I'm gonna get you. Gonna get you." Nobody is held accountable. 0 people are held accountable.
Not long afterwards, police were called to the scene of a break-in and theft at a nearby sports merchandise store. More often than not, acts of vandalism, break-ins, and burglaries occur in close proximity to street takeovers.
Where y'all getting fireworks at? Where y'all getting fireworks at after in August? Let me read some of these super chats. We got to talk about this takeover and DC. What is going on with all of these liberal cities? Huh? Winnie J. Sue says, thanks. It sounds like you were on the manufacturer's side as opposed to the fabrication. What's running up steel prices outside of geopolitics? Tariffs. Because steel prices have been depressed because a lot of foreign manufacturers have been dumping cheap steel inside of the United States of America. And so the prices were depressed. The demand is going to be up because building is crazy. And so steel prices is up because in order for people to be able to buy stuff, they got to buy it here in America, and it actually supports steel prices in the United States of America. Rob says, AD, have you heard of the Detroit man who killed 2 girls for jumping his mother? Send it to me. I don't hear of nothing unless y'all email it to me. Coach says, it's a Monday, Uncle Anton, give him grace. No grace. No grace. Chris Mayberry says, them ones add up, though. Facts. I take it in pennies. I take it in quarters. I take it in dimes. I take all of it. I don't deny no money. And I appreciate y'all. I need my money. It's dollar. I'll show you what my bank account is again. For the people that's new here, I want y'all to know why I'm desperate right now. That's it. That's it. All right. $1. That's all I got. Congratulations on 800,000. Thank you, Philip. Shout out to you. Philip been rocking with me for a long time. Thank you, Philip. Do the Right Thing says, what up, though? What's going on? Do the Right Thing. Rush King 19 says, crazy parties in the 90s and the 2000s when street racing in Cali was the issue. They made crazy laws and pushed cars, making it hard for people to modify their car or have car meets. Now they don't do nothing. That's because y'all got Karen Bass in there. The Executive Suite MLE and my dog says name it the Dr. Umar Johnson School of the Unburdened by What Has Been, or the YNs of America School of the Future Middle Class Kids. Y'all email me information on when the auction is going to be. I got my own auction. I've been stacking and saving my money for my own auction. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to figure it out. Send it to me. Send it to me. All right. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, y'all. Let's get into it for real. Let's deep dive. So Trump, I already told y'all about this last week that he had threatened to take over DC, to take over Washington, DC. And I understand it. I get it because, you know, you would think that DC was like, just from the outside looking in, let's say, for example, I am a person that's looking to visit the United States of America, right? And I didn't know anything about who stood on what part of the aisle. Only thing I knew, it was conservative and liberal, Democrat and Republican. You would think, if you didn't know anything about the United States of America, you would think that America and Washington, D.C. was super, super liberal, right? I mean, I'm sorry, that it was conservative. And the reason that you would think it's conservative is because you would think at the very least, right? Or I would think it, maybe y'all, but I would think at the very least this. I would say, well, the president of the United States is in D.C., right? That's like the capital of the country. But contrary to popular belief, DC is super liberal. And when I first visited DC, it was so weird to me because I'm like, why is there so much homelessness? And why do they have so many races? Like, not races of people, but like races going up and down the street. And why is there so many tents? It was a tent city in DC. And I went and visited the White House, right? And the first time that I ever visited the White House, I didn't go in the White House, but I just went on the outside. And it was a bunch of crazies out there. And they had their megaphones. Oh, okay, my lady Trump. And I was talking to the police officers as I was looking at the sniper that was walking on top of the White House roof. And they was like, yeah, this is normal. That guy is here regularly, and this group is here regularly. And you've seen all of the crazies and the liberals. And DC is not necessarily a bad city, but I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand, how can the White House and the Treasury and the Capitol, state Capitol, how can these places right around the corner have tent cities? How can we have, because if you go over to Moscow or Shanghai, or if you go over to Tokyo or something like that, right? And you go visit the business districts and stuff, they don't mess around. They clean that part up. Now, the outskirts, you might be on your own. You know what I'm saying? But at the very least, the place that's around the White House, when you go and visit, it should be different, right? But no, it's crime rampant, and Trump has been warning people in DC. He said, you know what? For a long time now, I've been telling y'all to get yourselves together, and y'all haven't gotten yourselves together. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and deploy the National Guard and the troops, and we're going to take over D.C.
Has increased federal law enforcement in the nation's capital, but some are pushing back against the crackdown and the new announcement expected from President Trump tomorrow. Here's ABC's Christiane Cordero.
Tonight, the nation's capital is bracing for a new announcement from President Trump. The White House plans to hold a press conference tomorrow that Trump says would essentially stop violent crime in D.C. It's not clear what Trump is planning, but it comes after he ordered the deployment of federal law enforcement agents to patrol the city. The ATF and U.S. Park Police are among the agencies posting photos on social media of agents out in the city. Last night, D.C. police say they arrested a minor for allegedly firing a gun towards a crowd in the busy Navy Yard neighborhood. No one was injured.
We have a capital that's very unsafe. We're going to do something about it.
For years, Trump has criticized Washington, D.C. as unsafe and dangerous. This week, he suggested the federal government could take over the city after a government staffer who used to work for Elon Musk was attacked in an attempted carjacking, according to authorities.
This has to be the best run place in the country.
It should. At the very least, a place where the president actually lays his head should be the place in the country that is the most ideal. Any dignitary from another country, a president from another country, or leader from another country, they should go to Washington, D.C. unannounced, or they should be able to send their people over to D.C. unannounced and say, you know what? It's different in D.C. though.
Be safe walking down streets. You're not going to get mugged.
While Washington was one of America's deadliest cities in 2023, violent crime has been down for 2 straight years, hitting a 30-year low in January.
No. It needs to be quelled. There should not be violent crime in basically the capital of the United States of America.
Mayor Muriel Bowser is pushing back on the president's claims.
If the priority is to show force in an American city, we know he can do that here. But it won't be because there's a spike in crime.
We don't need spikes. We don't need crime in the streets of DC. And let me tell you how they fake the stats, because all right, I need y'all to understand this, all right? I want all of my liberals, all of my people across the United States of America that's watching this, all 3,000 plus of y'all, I want y'all to understand this, all right? All 3,000 plus of y'all, I want y'all to understand this. This is how they finesse the stats. Are you listening to me? They doing it in Chicago. They doing it in Los Angeles. They doing it in DC. They doing it in New York. They're doing it everywhere. They're doing two things, okay? They're reclassifying what constitutes a crime, because you can't tell us that crime is down when you have less police officers on the force. And I use this stat all the time. In Chicago, they have 2,000 less police officers than they did previously. They removed ShotSpotter, right? So the first thing that they're doing is that they're removing the way in which they report crime, because many crimes that happen or take place, it's not responded to. Many crimes that happen or take place, it's not responded to. So I would be more concerned when they say that crime is down or the stats are down, but the experiences of what people are experiencing are actually up, versus somebody saying, you know what? We went in and we got higher crime than ever. It sounds crazy, right? It sounds backwards. If somebody says, yo, we went in and we got higher crime than ever, you can look at it two ways. Either you could say, you know what? Crime is up. Or you can look at it and say, depending on what your experience is, and this is why I say context matters, that means that we're deploying more police officers. We're actually addressing and putting detectives on the street and solving for crimes. More people are being arrested. I just did a story right before this, and they said, listen, they broke up the street takeover right there in front of Crypto Arena, and nobody was arrested and nobody was charged. Now, according to the stats and the statistics, because I know that you liberals, you like to use stats and statistics without having any context. According to the stats and statistics, there are no street takeovers in Los Angeles if you just purely look at it on paper. There are no street takeovers in Los Angeles because they haven't documented anything. They didn't arrest anybody. When the guy got his gas station ransacked and they took everything in there and they caused all of the damages, the police said, well, we can't do anything. What would you like for us to do? Because it's just simple shoplifting. It's not an actual robbery. They didn't come in here and ransack anything. They didn't do a takeover. So they're not reporting crime the same way, and they're using the same tactics and the same statistics everywhere. So if you have a temporary jump in crime reporting because you have more police officers, that is actually a good thing, because it shows that you're actually deploying more units to make examples and clean up the streets. Now, you also need to have judges and lawyers and all of that type of stuff in order to make sure that things stick. But my point is, a temporary jump is a good thing. Temporary jump in hiring, temporary jump in all of that. It's all a good thing. And then you see the collapse in crime because you have better experiences, right? But if you just automatically see a bunch of liberal cities and takeovers and streets and killing and all of this stuff, and they sit there and tell you, oh man, well, crime is down, crime is down, crime is down. Listen, the statistics say that crime is down. You juking the numbers and ain't nobody fooled. You're juking the numbers and nobody is fooled. You've reclassified what you think is a violent crime. You've reclassified how it is that people are supposed to move. You're a fool if you actually believe that. Well, Anton, they say crime is down. No, it's not. Reporting is down. The police officers are down. The amount of people that patrol is down. What they arrest you for is down. Most of the time, they don't even arrest you unless you do a super violent crime. Unless you do a crime against a police officer, they're not chasing you down. It's all a finesse. It's all a finesse. So I don't believe her. I don't believe it. And yes, Washington, D.C., they took ShotSpotter. Why do you think that Brandon Johnson, of all of the things that he could have cut in Chicago, they had the migrant crisis, they had hundreds of millions of dollars of where that was going, right? They got all of these different things that they can attack. They removed ShotSpotter, which isn't even a fraction, even a smidget of what police officers are getting paid in overtime. There are police officers in Chicago that make over $250,000 a year, and they remove ShotSpotter? Okay.
Lindsay, the president has also floated.
Let me move over a little bit. Come on, man. Y'all got to wake up. Y'all have to wake up. Wake up. Wake the piss up and stop being so stupid because you so caught up in, do you want your kids to be safe in their neighborhoods or no?
I think we need a ballroom, and that's happening. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. This is really a lot of people, most I've ever seen in this room. And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
Somebody said the police union is the problem. No, it's the parents. The police union and the police ain't got nothing to do with the crimes that's being committed. It's the culture. It's the parents. It's the fact that you're blaming crime on the police union, and you're not blaming it on the people that are committing the crimes. You can't say it's the police union. How is the police union the responsible people for crime being committed inside of y'all cities? Are you listening to what y'all saying? Listen. This is what I'm advocating for in 2025 and going forward. We have to start thinking for ourselves. I'm going to teach y'all. My goal to y'all is not to tell you how to think, but to try to communicate to you how you should be a critical thinker. It's not to tell you that you should believe A or you should believe B. But whether we're talking about relationships or whether we're talking about politics or whether we're talking about popular culture, I want you to be a critical thinker. I want you to think for yourself. I want you to try to use your own context clues, your lived experiences, and I want you to take away the talking points that you get from the internet, and I want you to start thinking for yourself. I want you to start thinking for yourself. Honest to God. My goal on this show is to bring forth different subjects that's happening in popular culture to have a conversation about it. And then we're going to educate ourselves and we're going to try to deduce exactly what the real problem is and zero in on it. But we got to use our own critical thinking skills. It doesn't matter if people agree with you. Don't matter if people disagree with you, because it's a possibility that they disagree with you because they're not using their own critical thinking skills themselves. But how can we have a conversation if all you're using is talking points? You don't even know what you ever been to a police union meeting? Do you know what they do? You know anything about it? Nothing? Come on. Critical thing. We going there now. I'm pushing you. I'm pushing you this time. I'm going to push you.
The authorities vested in me as the President of the United States. I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it, too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that happened. And so you can be anything you want, but you want to have safety in the streets. You want to be able to leave your apartment or your house where you live and feel safe and go into a store to buy a newspaper or buy something. And you don't have that now. The murder rate in Washington today is higher than that of
Uber. 3 minutes. Not bad. Pizza.
We don't like that.
30
I got to
minutes.
switch to the premium
Bogota,
account.
Colombia, Mexico City, some of the places that you hear about as being the worst places on
Don't
earth.
solve for
Much
that.
higher. This is much higher. The number of car thefts has doubled over the past 5 years, and the number of carjackings has more than tripled. Murders in 2023 reached the highest rate probably ever. They say 25 years, but they don't know what that means because it just goes back 25 years.
Let me tell you what else that they do in order to juke the stats. I'm going to tell you what else they do in order to juke the stats. They're using comparisons from spiked years to say that it is down. So then let's just say, for example, you say, hey, from 2023, it was up now. Now the murders is down. And 2024, the first full year that we can report. Well, that's because you compared it to the worst year on record in 2023. Compared it to the worst year on record in 2023. So yeah, we gotta be better. We gotta do different. And I'm glad that Trump is starting to deploy the National Guard and do all of this type of stuff. But before I go over to read super chats, because I am going to read super chats in a second, I want to get the reaction from the people, right? Because the people are speaking and they are reacting to Trump's perspective and Trump's whole idea of sending the National Guards and taking over the police force over in D.C. And this is what they have to say about it.
On Monday, August 11th, we are following some breaking news from overnight. Homeland Security on the streets of D.C. hours ahead of an expected press conference from President Trump.
Sources tell WUSA 9 he's planning to deploy the National Guard in an extraordinary escalation of his recent threats to take over D.C.
We're going to beautify the city. We're going to make it beautiful. And that includes...
Hold on. Let me make sure that I'm on premium. Give me a second. No, that ain't on the premium account. Let me switch to premium account.
30 on Monday.
Got to get the premium, baby. All right. We're back on. We got the premium.
And that includes bringing in the National Guard, maybe very quickly, too.
It's national.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is weighing in for the first time since these renewed threats began last week. Her message to the residents?
Their nation's capital is among the most beautiful and best cities in the world.
Are y'all looking at this real quick? I want y'all to look at this because, again, we're using our critical thinking skills and we want to make sure that we observe, because communication is more than just what people say. It's what people look like, it's how they wear themselves. Can we just be for real for a second? Let me just have this conversation. Have y'all realized, this is going to be an uncomfortable truth, but it just is what it is. Have y'all realized how weird Black people have gotten? Not the guy on the right. The guy on the right, outside of not having a mustache, he looks normal. Have y'all realized how weird we've gotten? Every time that they bring somebody that identify as a liberal, every time they bring somebody that identifies as a Democrat, and most of the time, if you're a Black person, you're a weirdo. You're weird. One of the worst things that ever happened to Black people was they started acknowledging us and they allowed for us to normalize things that should have never been normalized inside of America. Honestly, they start allowing for y'all to wear y'all hair any way y'all wanted to inside of corporate America. They start allowing for you to put on pastel colors on TV. They allowed for y'all to be able to have your own voice and to, you know, wear your septum rings in your faces. They allow for you to put on all of your blackety black perfumes and all of this stuff. And so now this is what we have. Look at this guy. Look at Tito Jackson. Look at the woman came up to me the other day and she said, "Hey Anton, who is this?" She showed me a picture. I said, "Who is that?" She said, "That's me and Tito Jackson." Was it Tito or was it Jermaine? She said, "That's me and such and such." I said, "Girl, let me take a picture of that," because she was an older woman. She was an older woman. She said, "Honestly, I didn't plan this." She said, she got the picture. She said, "Anton, look at this picture. That's one of the Jacksons." She said, "Yeah, I was partying with the Jacksons." It kind of scared the hell out of me, to be honest with you, because I was thinking to myself, "Oh, let me go ahead and head to the gym and get myself together, because you was bad as hell when you was younger, ma'am." What happened? Which Jackson is this one? Is Randy? Is this Randy Jackson? I'm not gonna show her because she on the other side, right? It's another part of the picture that's on the other side, and I don't want to get in there. I'm not showing her. That's her over there. I said, "Let me take a picture of that girl." Is Marlon, Randy, whichever Jackson that this is, how is this any different than the person that's on the screen right now? Y'all seeing Miami in the background. Never mind that. We got good views over here. How is this any different? Huh? Look at him. Look at him. All European standards are not bad. Most of y'all ain't from Africa. You was born right here in the United States of America. You don't know Africa. We don't have the same standards as Africa. Y'all keep bringing y'all ways over here because you think that you identify. What do you mean you wearing red, green, and black? We wear white, blue, and red. That is the colors of the American flag. We don't wear the Jamaican or the African or any of the Nigerian or any of these other flags. You're not from there. You from right here in the United States of America. What are you doing? They won't let us wear our African hair because you ain't African. You might be a booty scratcher, but you're not African. Stand up and put your hand on your chest for the flag. Wear your flag proudly. You're not Nigerian. You ain't Usain Bolt. Guess what? When you go to track and field, they trying to beat you. And I'm not against people that's from different cultures, but what I am saying is that you should be a proud American the same way that they are proud to be over here. When you go to other countries, I don't know if some of y'all have gotten your passport or something like that. When you go to other countries, you're supposed to have pride in who you are. Y'all jump on TV and y'all look like who did it and why. And y'all just want to let's normalize having our breath stinking. Let's normalize letting our soul glow. That's not even y'all. They don't even wear soul glow in Africa. They don't wear soul glow in Africa. Some of y'all got good hair. Like it's like super good hair. And you got to do extra to try to make it nappy. You got to do extra to try. That ain't even your natural hair. You had to extrafy your hair to try to fit into the standards. You know, it reminded me, I was telling a guy last Monday. Shout out to you. I got to use it as an example. It is what it is. I was telling the guy last Monday. I said, "This ain't even you, bro." And the girls was laughing and giggling. Yeah, that's true. They just kept hyping him up. He didn't even realize. I said, "Bro, this ain't even you." These girls on this panel, They don't, what you think? That they tight? You think that they was messing with you? We gonna have to normalize being okay with who we are. We are who we are. You ain't gotta pretend. You ain't gotta try to get you some dreadlocks. You ain't gotta try to do nothing. I mean, if that's who you are, then that's who you authentically are. But you don't have to try to be something that you ain't. You don't. You don't. I know that there's certain environments and stuff that I come to Miami because I like the weather and stuff. But then when I be seeing niggas standing out the club and all of these BBLs and all of these, what y'all like to call Miami TNs, I don't want to hang with them. I'm cool with who I am. I'm cool. I'm not trying to be in the hood. I was born in the hood, but I never felt like I was a part of the hood because I knew that I had a higher calling on my life. I don't have to try to fit in with niggas just because niggas is doing what they do. No, I don't want to steal a car. No, I don't want to. I'm not about to smoke with you out in the streets and stuff like that. Never was interested in cigarettes just because everybody was doing it. I know Black and Miles was a thing in the hood. I don't want to do Black and Miles. I'm cool with being Anton. Anton is Anton. I'm good. I have good credit. I'm a business owner, and I am trying to figure out how I can add value into people's lives. Why y'all? What's wrong with y'all? Why y'all so weird? And I'm gonna tell you how weird y'all are. Let me tell you how weird you are. You so weird. You a weirdo. You are. You watching this right now. You a weirdo. You're so weird that y'all all starting to look alike. All liberals are starting to look alike. Black men are starting to look like white women. Y'all all got the same piercings. You all got the same tattoos. You all got the same septum rings. You all got the same hair on your chin. You all got the same hair color. Black men look like white women. White women look like black women. Liberal women look like liberal black and white women. Y'all all look the fucking same. Y'all all look the same, bro. It's like you got the liberal starter kit. You got the liberal starter kit. Y'all look the same. White men look like black men. White men look like black women. Black men look like white women. I'm like, dog, they all dress the same. Y'all got the same piercings. You talk the same. You walk the same. Y'all shop in the same store. You go to the same bathrooms. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all don't realize how weird you look? You're not cool. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo. You're not cool. You look weird, bro. Everything about you is weird and uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable. Your feet big and you keep on trying to get a size. They don't make size 15 heels, nigga. They don't make size 15 heels. You supposed to be dribbling the basketball and tackling people on the field, not getting tackled from behind so that you can give up your pussy. They don't make size 15 heels. Keep squeezing your big fat flat feet inside of them heels, busting them over at the side, talking about, oh, I'm bloated. No, you big, nigga. You supposed to be a captain in the military or something. You trying to do hair. Every time I go through Macy's or something like that, or Nordstrom's, and the beauty part where you got to walk through the salon part, you keep doing like this. What they do? Where the tip? Let me see something. That's what y'all be doing. You know how they got the perfumes and they got the smell ones? That's an older white woman's job. That's a white woman's job that ain't got nothing better to do. She's a retired teacher and now she's trying to get into fashion, but y'all be doing this. Keep on handing me them strips. Spricks, waving in the air. Looking at your big ass. Y'all big, waving perfume. You know how big you are waving perfume? You know how big you are doing makeup? Nigga, you doing makeup. You're a makeup artist. Look at you. You're a makeup artist, dog. Trying to sell me some perfume. Man, if you don't get away from me. They always got their chests out, their chest hairs. For some reason, liberals like chest hair. And they just let it curl up and it gets real beaded. I don't know what it is. And they grease themselves up. You love chest hair. Go out to Miami. Go to Miami Beach. But they love getting their hairs beaded up and putting it out, putting the tank top on, or having a shirt untucked and unbuttoned all the way down here. You love BDB taco meat. You love taco meat. I ain't eating no Taco Bell when I'm sorry. We look Millionaire Derailment Show. We gonna get there.
It's well run. I just think that's not the most efficient use of our guard.
That press conference from the White House is expected in just about 3.5 hours from now at 10 a.m. We've got team coverage for you this morning, starting with our Jess Arnold live outside the White House. And Jess, what have you been able to learn that this announcement will entail?
President Trump is supposed to be talking about crime and beautification. Now, a White House official has said that there are about 450 federal law enforcement officers throughout the district as of last night. Now, I want to take you to that Truth Social post that the president shared yesterday, saying that they'll be arresting criminals and moving people who are unhoused out of the Capitol. Now, D.C. sources tell our team that they're definitely expecting that official National Guard deployment today. Mayor Bowser, though, worries about them being used in a patrol capacity, but says MPD is used to working with federal officials. Now, we are expecting that press conference to happen at 10 a.m. this morning, so we're getting closer here, a couple hours away now. But first, I want to toss it out to my colleague, Jacqueline Quinn, who has more on how the community is reacting to all of this.
Yeah, you know what? I'm in Northwest DC near U Street and 14th. And typically this is an area where people come out for restaurants, bars, clubs. This is kind of where people find nightlife out here. So it was a little bit of a surprise that cameras captured federal agents out here in force.
New this morning, WSA9 has brand new video obtained of officers and agents on foot here around midnight. You can see them moving in teams, stopping people, keeping eyes on the late night crowd. And it wasn't just here. DEA agents were also spotted on the National Mall Sunday. It all follows a weekend of heightened patrols and arrests. Police say they seized 3 semi-automatic pistols along with fentanyl, crack cocaine, and meth. Arrests included carrying a pistol without a license, possession of a prohibited weapon, and larceny. But for some residents, the bigger concern is how this was done.
We saw like 10 cars or more coming over the hill. When they get out, they hop out with their guns in their hand, telling.
So they're more concerned with the how than whether or not it was actually a threat that was removed. This is what's happening in liberal cities and in the Black community. People are more concerned with the how than they are with whether or not it was actually a threat and Fenty and drugs and guns removed off of the street. So stupid, so dumb. I don't like how y'all did it. What?
People, come here.
Tyree Stevenson, better known to the community as Gotti, is a third-generation Deanwood resident.
It's kind of scary, you know what I'm saying? Before you know it, then shots went off. Pow, 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 pow. Right here.
Deanwood ANC Commissioner Anthony Lorenzo Green says it felt like there was no concern for his community.
We were all sitting out here like, why was all this necessary? And I feel that the federal government has overstepped what we feel is their limits, right? There should be an understanding between the District of Columbia and the federal government about how we govern ourselves. We have home rule for a reason.
He's not convinced the president's plan addresses the problems his neighbors actually face.
Is he going to come pick up our trash next? Is that?
Pick up your own mother effing trash, nigga. Clean up your own neighborhoods. Pick up your own trash and get your own people in order. What are you talking about? What is wrong with these people? Are y'all hearing some of this nonsense? Are you gonna come pick up our trash next? What? You know what I learned in Tokyo? If anybody ever gets a chance at some point in their life to go and visit Tokyo, all right? I spent some time out there and it was very awesome, but it was very you notice the difference in some things. Tokyo is like seems like it's bigger than New York. I don't know which one is bigger, but it just stretches. It stretches and it's beautiful. And it's very technologically advanced and all of that stuff, right? But here's the thing that I noticed about Tokyo as I walked around and I went to different places and I caught catch the rides and I took the subways and all of that stuff, right? They don't have any trash cans. They have 0 trash cans. Let me look at the population of Tokyo. The greater Tokyo area, which includes the surrounding prefectures, has a population of around 41 million, making it the most populous metropolitan area in the world. The Tokyo metropolis, that means a city. So, for example, I got Detroit, and then I got the surrounding areas. So, the surrounding areas of Detroit, let's assume that Tokyo and its surrounding areas is 41 million. The people that are inside, so I know New York has 8 million people. Tokyo has 14 million people. 14 million people. The subways are packed. Public transportation, packed. Buses, packed. And you know what else that you'll find? No trash cans. And guess what? No litter. No trash cans. If you go and let's say, for example, you go to an area where they got like restaurants or like outdoor restaurants or shopping and stuff, you're expected to take your trash with you and throw it away when you get back to where you came from. Then that makes you more mindful of the things that you buy and how it is that you're going to move around the city. 0 trash cans and no litter. Subways, safe. Problems, none. Dirty, nope. Nope. No trash cans and no litter. And don't nobody got to be made. It ain't overflowing and stuff. So when I see people here, why they ain't trash cans? Look at it. They don't even have trash cans in Tokyo. But it ain't no litter. It's no litter. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And so that's what gives me insight about our cultural norms, because I realize that, you know what? We just allow for bad behavior and that we don't really hold ourselves accountable. And so it's okay to do some of the worst things because we just get around. We get away with it. We get away with it. Real car folks have heavy disdain for takeovers. That's a fact. That is a fact. Shout out to Jay Ben. The local nightly news gives a better indication of violence tonight. We learned 5 people dead by drive-by. Here's Christina with more. That sounds just like them. Miriera, I'm going to just call you Angel. What's up, Angel? Last night, 2 criminals carjacked 3 cars and a big rig truck, all while the police was chasing them and still got away without getting caught. How? They ain't got no helicopters? Howie Brown says, I think it's time for a temporary draft. I'm with it. Oshkosh Worldwide is in the building, says, cute, bubbly little B.I. just tried handing me a book in a plastic bag in a Meyer parking lot talking about it's for the community. Listen, y'all, don't do it. Anybody that's handing y'all anything, if you ladies, let me tell y'all something. If somebody tries to sell y'all something in the parking lot, try to hand you a book, say that they're gonna pray for you, just say no thank you and keep it moving. You're not a bad person. They drugging people and they grabbing them. If you walk outside and you see something on your handle of your car, don't touch it. Walk away, call the police. If you see a flyer now, or you see something on your car and you're looking to go grab it and take it off and look at it and stuff, Most of the time, it's a substance on it that can drug you, and they are snatching y'all. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm telling you, this is a public service announcement. Oshkosh, you're absolutely right. They are grabbing y'all. They drugging y'all. If you see a bottle or something like that on your tire because it's making a little bit of noise, and you get out and you think that you're going to grab it and get it out, they following y'all, they drugging y'all, and they grabbing y'all because there's something on that bottle. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. Ladies, listen, it's more than 3,000 people in here on YouTube alone, and so I want to make sure that I give y'all some insight. If you see anything that looks weird, out of place, you start seeing some kind of van or a rapist van or people that seem like an innocent girl and all of this stuff, and she seemed weird, walk away, call the police. If you do touch something, go where people are, all right? Immediately go where people are. Don't run to solitary. Go to where people are. If it's outside of a Walmart or Myers or something like that, go inside and fall out by the cashiers. All right. Be very, very vigilant. Be very, very careful. A lot of times we don't know because we're not criminals. And so we need stuff like this to, you know what I'm saying, to give us more visibility. All right. Just want to let y'all know that because I love y'all. Two, what up? Two says I work for US Steel in Pittsburgh. Shout out to Pittsburgh. I love Pittsburgh. We lost our union brothers and a plant explosion this morning. Really? Oh man, prayers up for everybody over in Pittsburgh and the people over there in the plant explosion. I'm gonna probably cover it tomorrow, but shout out to y'all, man. Prayers up for y'all. Eddie says, "What up, Anton? Thanks for entertaining us every day. Currently at the hospital with the wife in labor. Congratulations! Welcome to new baby girl. We still don't miss though. Wish us luck. Happy Monday. God bless you, man. Hope y'all have a phenomenal pregnancy and y'all have a really, really healthy baby." Jay Ben says, "Government assistance, Doc Dre look crazy on the right." Darius Moore says, "Hey, even though I have a Nigerian father, don't make me African. I was born here with American mother, yes, straight out of wedlock, and I'm a proud American." I don't have anything against migrants or people that's not from here. But what I am saying is that when you hear support and rock out with America, y'all in America, you know what I'm saying? Chris Cunningham says, "I had a convo with the 93%er, and she was like, 'You look like a Republican,' or the 92%er. Well, yeah, I am a Republican." Carrington Love Jr. says, "I wish I could take a picture of this guy that works at an Avis budget rental place, piercings and green bush hair. Another one works at Tesla. They weird. Black fatigue," says David Simpson Jr. Del Trey Rex says, "All our black community wants crime, poverty, drugs, government assistance, and child support that Democrats push in order to push you to vote for the failure of us and blame the white man and racism for no reason." Shout out Del Trey Rex. Devon says, "Can I get your thoughts on the Hurricane Katrina doc?" What's the Hurricane Katrina doc? I don't know what the document is. It a documentary or a document? What came out? You got to let me know what it is and send it to me because I'm not familiar with what's going on. If something new was released, then let me know. All right. If something new was released, let me know, but I'm not familiar with it. There's a documentary on Hurricane Katrina. I haven't seen it. So I didn't even know that it was a documentary. What is it on? Y'all tell me inside of the chat what it was on. Bob Brown, what was it on now? Like what platform is it on? Jeg Lag Ant says, WTW Anton, shout out my girl Angel. It's our first year anniversary. Finally found a good one, fit, feminine, friendly, no kids locking it down. Congratulations. Shout out to you, Angel, and shout out to Jet Lag Ant on y'all first anniversary and many, many more. Many, 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 many more. Shout out to the Courtney Eggers show. I heard you got 1,000 wow subscribers. Congratulations. All right. Y'all said it's basically on everything then, huh? Hulu, Netflix, HBO, Hulu, Nat Geo, or Amazon Prime. All right, I'll check it out on Amazon Prime. I'll try to watch it. Maybe I can watch it. I'm going to try to watch it this weekend. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon, y'all. We're doing Stock Club this weekend, and it's going to be awesome. Tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right, y'all. I don't want to do that one yet. let's get into the money. I got a couple articles I want to get into the money before I get y'all up out of here. The first one is Nvidia. So Nvidia has agreed to give over Nvidia and AMD, huge chip companies, obviously, but they have agreed to give Trump and the United States of America 15% of chip sales that is shipped over to China. I want to spend 10 minutes on this. Again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to the money, y'all. And we're going to deep dive into this weekend because I want to make sure I prepare y'all for the next quarter in order to be able to maximize profit.
How is this going to work? 15% of sales, 15% of the revenues that they make from those sales into the China market of the H20 when it comes to Nvidia or AMD's equivalent. Once they start shipping those, they will get the export license, according to this reporting, if they pay that 15% into the US Treasury. That apparently is how it's going to work. There are legal questions around this. If this is categorized as an export tax, potentially there are legal challenges to this. But according to our reporting, this is what Nvidia and AMD have signed up for. And again, quoting some of the analysts in our own reporting, pretty unprecedented. Hard to think of another example of a US corporate signing up to this kind of export demand from the US government. China, meanwhile, yet to officially comment, John, on this development, but they have in recent days pointed out through state media and through blogs affiliated with state media concerns about what they describe as national security risks associated with Nvidia's H20 at a time, of course, when China is now showing no signs at all of walking back from its doubling down on building out its own chip sector and ensuring that it has less dependency on those US AI accelerators.
Tom, you've spent years in China. What do you think they're thinking behind the scenes in terms of the US going to corporate America and saying, you can send these chips to China that we originally blocked because of national security concerns. We just want a piece of the pie.
I think if you rewind the clock 6 months, China is in a much better position versus now. The H20s, the licenses, it seems, will be approved for those. You look at the movements in terms of the equity markets for China. Yes, they have all the concerns about the domestic consumer and about the real estate and property sector. Those remain. The geopolitical tensions, you talked about the fact that this truce is expected to be extended again by 90 days. China continues to invest. You see the developments coming through from the likes of Huawei at 7 nanometers and Xpeng, according to reports, coming through with a chip of 5 nanometers, not closing in on 3 nanometers that the likes of TSMC are churning out, but closing that gap. So they're going to get access to the H20, but continue to build out their own AI accelerator capacity and try and close that gap. I think China will probably be rubbing its hands at the prospects of potential domestic pushback on this policy as they continue again to try and funnel investments into AI accelerators that they continue to need that underpin the models, of course, of Alibaba, DeepSeek, and others. And it's really high silicon that sits at the heart of Huawei that is leading the charge on this front.
So let me give you all a little bit of insight because I know a lot of times people are confused at the verbiage. And that's one of the problems that we have inside of our community and our culture is that we don't believe that we don't believe that a lot of this stuff is interesting to us because we don't understand the verbiage and we don't, really get what's being communicated. All right. You're not slow. You just don't know what it is that they're saying, right? You just don't understand the key words and the key factors. So this is why I'm here to break it down from a C student's perspective so that you can better understand exactly what's going on here. Okay. So we have been in chip wars for a long time. All right. So much so to where the United States government and China alike have classified it as a national security. And also we have grouped it in with Homeland Security. All right. So I'm going to break it down very simple for you guys. All right. So here's the thing. When Biden and Kamala Harris, when they were in office and in 2023, 2024, when they tried to introduce legislation to address immigration and homeland security concerns, they baked in funding for Taiwan. They baked in funding for several different things that had nothing to do with most people's perspectives, and it kind of went over people's heads as far as national security concerns. We support Taiwan because China wants to take over Taiwan, not only for its geographic location to be able to ship, back and forth through what happens over near there, but also because of their capacity, because that's where the majority of the chip companies lie in the world, where they manufacture and they sell and they develop research and technology in order to sell chips, right? There's been an arms race between the United States and China to not only develop their own in-house chip technology to be less dependent on Taiwan, but also, to make sure that they secure their own, because chips and technology, if you don't remember during the pandemic, it basically was in everything. It's hundreds of them in the cars that you drive, and the computers that you have, and the phones that you on, and the cameras that we have, so on and so forth. And so the more powerful these chips become, not just for what it powers for what we do on a day-to-day basis, but also AI. We're in an AI arms race, meaning that Nvidia is the leading chip maker, manufacturer, and also research and development. And so the level of technology that they have that's being used in order to power a majority of whatever is happening in the AI, and also the chips that's powering everything that goes off across the world, China wants to become less dependent on other manufacturers of chips, and they also want to catch up on the technology. And so what they've been doing is they've been investing heavily in developing their own technology, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that they meet the same expectations and standards that we have here in America. Are they catching up? Absolutely. But at the same time, they still want to be less dependent on the world and chip manufacturers and so on and so forth. And so they've been investing heavily in their own technology. Think about it like the oil companies, right? We have been so dependent on foreign steel and oil that if anything was to ever happen, we'd have to depend on foreign manufacturers, which make it a national security. It makes it a national security concern, because you can't depend on outside resources in order for you to be able to take care of yourself, right? So you got TMC, I believe it's TMC. You have other manufacturers of the equipment that actually builds the chips. ASML, right? That's another one of my favorite companies. Before, years ago, I actually reported on the fact that they stole some technology, and it was a lot of documents that was removed and stolen from ASML, and then the person defected over to China to get there, right? But long story short, this is the skinny of it. I wanted to kind of give you TSMC, correct? Thank you, Yakar. There's the skinny of it. We are in an arms race. We are in an AI race. And we are also in a trade war with China. All right. China is trying to make sure that they are in a technological lead, and they're trying to distance themselves from being interdependent on anybody else in order for them to be able to survive. And it's the same here in the United States of America. So they still need these chips. The world needs these chips. But the Trump administration smartly came in and they said, the Trump administration, yes, China is not the lead. China is not the lead. The Trump administration is basically saying, listen, a part of these trade deals and a part of this trade war, we want our cut of the pie. We want our slice of the pie if we are to sell you chips from AMD and Nvidia, which is largely considered one of the most profitable and one of the highest valued companies in the United States of America. I believe that Nvidia has a $4 trillion valuation at this point. And so what is basically happening is you're having this intersection between, we want to make sure that we manufacture our own stuff and develop our own technology. United States of America saying that we want to take what we know in our research and development, and we want to continue to push forward, while at the same time we want to bring all of the manufacturing back to the United States of America. So when you see Trump say stuff like, well, we want chips here, or, well, we want to make sure that we invest here, or the CHIPS Act was no good and we're developing manufacturing capacity to have chips manufacturers developing inside of the United States of America, tariffs are more than just getting Sheen products inside of the United States of America. Tariffs are more than your Sheen products. Tariffs are a national security. It is largely based off of what's happening in chips. It's largely based off of what's happening with steel. It's largely based off of what's happening with cars. And so there's way more that goes into what they're tariffing and why they're trying to get a trade deal with all of these different companies. This is why you can't say across the board what we did with the EU is the same as we're going to do with China. It's the same that what we're going to do with Canada. It's the same as what we're going to do in Mexico. We can't, because the trade deficit is different depending on what it is that we're in a race for, right? We can say, okay, well, in the EU, we want to be able to sell our cars over there. We want to make sure that you invest here in the United States of America, because the trade deficit says that you guys are sending stuff over here, but we don't really export anything over to you. But we're not in a chips race with the EU. China is much different, because not only do we look at them as our adversary, but they are a technological powerhouse. And so we have to make sure that we are doing what's best in America, while at the same time increasing profits that goes in the U.S. Treasury, because we can't just have people taking our technology without actually paying for it. So this is a historic deal, right? When you see an AMD and an Nvidia actually being able to sell to China, in order for them to get past that barrier to entry, Trump basically said, we want our cut. We want our cut. Now, the thing that I'm paying attention to personally, and we're going to get into this in Stock Club, and I got to do a little bit more research, is what chips are they selling to China? What chips are they selling outside of the United States of America in order to power these models, in order to power their AI, right? Because what we've historically seen, and that's whether we talk on military equipment or chips, what we've historically seen is we reserve the best for ourselves, while at the same time allowing for our companies to profit. We usually preserve the most advanced technology for ourselves here in the United States of America, but we allow for our companies to sell a version of whatever is happening over to China or over to these other places. And that's the thing that we got to deep dive into. So I'm going to do some research on that. Let me get the rest of this report.
Tom, are you basically saying that China needs the MI308 from AMD and the H20 from Nvidia just to bridge to basically when they're up to par where the United States is in terms of these advanced AI semiconductors?
China has not spelt out, Anne-Marie, its policy around this, but it is pretty clear that a reliance on US chips is not what China is going to be comfortable with. And the fact that Jensen Huang has essentially said, look to the US and to President Trump, we should be allowed to continue to supply these AI accelerators into the Chinese market, precisely because if it comes to it, we could just pull the plug on those. That gets picked up by China. They're listening to that. So yes, this can tie them over until they have their own capacity. There's the other question about national security.
Did you hear what it said? This could tie them over until they have their own capacity. So China is not going to stop investing in themselves just because they have a deal, but they absolutely need our chips. They 100% need our chips.
Security, the case being made by the Biden administration and by the Trump administration to allies in the Netherlands and in Japan, do not sell your hardware and software into the Chinese market because of national security concerns. Well, that now has put a big question mark over it, because if you're prepared to pay that 15%, then suddenly national security concerns seem to be being put.
So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I definitely wanted to make sure that I brought this up because it's important. It's maybe not as entertaining to people that's not investing in the market. Maybe it's not as entertaining to people that don't care about national security. Maybe y'all want to just pay attention to the DC takeovers or LA street races, or whether or not somebody is getting their head kicked in. But this is a major, major, major breakthrough. But there's a lot of things that seems to need to be ironed out, or at least details that need to be revealed that I haven't been able to find yet. But I'll definitely keep you guys up to date on what's going on with that. Before we get out of here, though, and before I read the super chats, I got one more thing that I want to cover with you guys. And there's this content creator. I think I reviewed one other video years ago from her, and her name is Shelby Church. Shelby Church. And I believe she made some videos about an Airbnb that she had, and all of this other type of stuff. And I think the video that I did a review of about her was how much she make. They did a breakdown, like her and her sister or something like that, did a breakdown of how much she makes, right? But she recently dropped a video, and the name of the video was something like, is it better to rent or buy? Because she's moving, but she decided to rent even though she has the ability to be able to buy. And I thought it'd be a good conversation. I haven't seen the video yet, but I think that it would be worth having a conversation about it, because there's a lot of conversation going on about affordability, renting, buying, and all of this stuff. And I have a different perspective or a different mentality when it comes to renting and buying. And so I thought it would be worth watching this video and reviewing it together.
After about a year of searching, I am finally moving to a bigger place. And contrary to what I thought when I first started looking, I decided to rent instead of buy. A year ago, I was determined to buy because if you have the money to do it, it's what you do in America, right? It's a sign of success and it's always the best investment, right? This is so ingrained in many of us, we're blinded to the fact that it's not always true anymore. I'm going to explain why I decided to sign a lease and rent for another year, even though I technically could buy, and why I think this is the better financial decision for me. The first reason I decided not to buy and instead sign a new lease is because when I actually ran the numbers, it wasn't the best investment. And this was hard for me to wrap my mind around because for many years, buying was a great investment. Really for much of the past 50 years, and even as early as 2021. If you bought a place, your monthly cost would be the same, if not slightly cheaper, than the cost to rent a comparable place. But this is just not the case anymore. With where prices and interest rates are currently, usually the monthly mortgage cost would be much higher than a comparable unit for rent. When you actually run the numbers, it's pretty surprising. So take this condo, for example, that is in the $800,000 price range. It's 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, about 1,000 square feet. And this is pretty typical of what you'll find in this price point in Los Angeles.
Is that what y'all paying? Y'all paying 800 bands for 1,000 square feet, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo? Y'all are getting finessed, and y'all got to pay property taxes, and y'all give up a percentage of y'all income as far as the highest income taxes in the United States of America. Man, y'all smoking crack, bro. No way. No way under on God's green earth. And y'all got bad squatters laws, and y'all probably got to pay HOAs. Ain't no way on God's green earth. I know y'all love that California weather, that Los Angeles weather. Ain't no way on God's green earth that I'm buying a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo for 1,000 square feet in Los Angeles for $800,000. You smoking crack, bro. I can't swing it. I can't see it, but let's continue.
For a place like this, the monthly mortgage is nearly $6,000 a month because of today's 7% interest rate. Meanwhile, there are plenty of 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartments that are arguably more updated. You can see the floors in the kitchen do look more modern in this one, that are less expensive. This one is renting for $4,500 a month. Not to mention, you also have that down payment that you could leave in the stock market. There's the opportunity cost of that as well. So for this place, it's a $160,000 down payment. And if you're getting the average stock market return, that's $16,000 per year that you're losing out on. Not to mention, if you're saving $1,500 a month because it's cheaper to rent, you can invest that as well. And in 5 years, you would have nearly $400,000. And so the question.
So that she actually did a really good breakdown.
Well, and in 5 years, you would have nearly
So basically what she's saying, because a lot of times people don't pay attention to the opportunity cost. The opportunity cost is the opportunity to be able to own it, to be able to put your name on it, right? I don't look at a place that you live at as an investment. I just don't. I don't look at a place that you put over your head that you're actually living in as an investment. I look at a stock market as an investment. I look at investing in a company as an investment. I look at starting a specific business as an investment. I look at owning real estate that you're renting out to other people, that you're generating income as an investment. I don't look at a home that you live in as an investment. Now, if you want to have a conversation about how much you can customize it, whether or not you want to have maintenance and all of this stuff, then that's a completely different conversation. But even if you just look at the opportunity cost, meaning the amount that you're making every single year as far as a 10% return on your money, which is not unheard of in this particular market. As a matter of fact, over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, you probably should be getting at least a 12 to 13% return on your money if you join in the Patreon and Stock Club. You're basically saving by taking that $160,000 plus $1,500 that you saving on not buying the place on top of a 10% return. And you basically, after a certain amount of time, you sitting on close to $400,000 that you could have kept in your pocket versus front loading a mortgage in which you're going to be paying the majority of it in interest over to a mortgage company, over to a bank. And so this is why we say that, hey, listen, Just because you're buying instead of renting, don't mean that you're coming out ahead. Just because you're buying because instead of renting does not mean that you're coming out ahead. You also got to factor in maintenance. You also got to factor in repairs. You also got to factor in property taxes. You also, if you have it, have to factor in HOA fees. And so there's a lot of costs that we don't take into accountability, right? There's downfalls, King, and there's pros and there's cons. It depends. It depends on how long you live in it. It depends on the area that you buy. It depends on whether or not you can get a better return for your money. It depends on if you decide that you want to leave within the next 3 to 4 years and you've only front loaded it. And then now you depending on the property to appreciate, and you're not even taking into consideration the 3 to 6% that you got to pay to the realtor. You're not even taking into consideration the 3 to 6% that you're paying into the realtor. When you really start understanding the game, then you know how to start to get to the point where you can write certain things off. And I'm not just talking about the interest on a mortgage. I'm not just talking about the taxes. I'm talking about corporate apartments and stuff like that, right? If your business can justify certain things, then you really starting to save and get into the money. But again, it's not that buying is bad, but it's that we just automatically, without doing the numbers, without paying attention to the opportunity cost, without paying attention to the long-term ramifications, impacts, maintenance, all of this stuff, we're not really taking everything into accountability. We don't take everything. I would never buy a place in Los Angeles. Would I go and create content in Los Angeles for 4 to 5 months? Absolutely. It's a different game. It's a 100% different game when you're going over to some place to create a content house and to create a studio over there so that you can create content and do certain things, if you know what I mean, if you can read between the lines. I would never actually go and buy a place in Los Angeles. It's a different thing. But that's just me personally. That's me personally.
$100,000. And so the question is always, does buying beat that return? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
What I realized is with both of the places that I actually put offers in on, it was very close. It was not a no-brainer that buying was better. It was like, maybe not though. Because the thing is, there's a lot more factors than just the monthly mortgage cost versus the rent cost. Right. There's home appreciation, the fact that rents can go up, the tax benefits of owning. It's actually a lot more complicated to determine if it is truly a good investment to buy versus rent.
The New York Times actually made a really good rent versus buy calculator that takes into account all of these things, like the tax benefits of owning and the fact that rent increases. And in this specific scenario, renting was always just a little bit better, even if you held it for 30 years. And this calculator isn't even taking into account that you might be investing the difference in what you save by renting. It also doesn't take into account that if you buy, you could potentially refinance later, but still it gives you a pretty good idea of if it's truly better to buy versus rent, which in most cases, better to rent. So for it to make sense as an investment, you need the appreciation to outpace those stock market gains. And when I looked at the data of what I wanted to buy, I didn't think it would.
Houses always appreciate, don't they? Not super well for condos and townhouses. Personally, what I was looking at buying was a condo or a townhouse. Because in LA, to get a single family house, you're starting at $1.7 million.
Sub me out, coach. Coach, I think I injured my ankle. Coach, I think I just injured my ankle, coach. I think I twisted my ankle. I want to be careful. I want to make sure that it's not an Achilles tear or that I don't have a sprained left knee. Sub me out, coach. Sub me out. Take me out the game. Take me out the game. First of all, I believe that getting a condo, anything with an HOA, especially a condo, especially in a building, especially into all of that stuff, count me out, coach. Those are some of the worst investments that you can make, is buying a condo or a townhouse. I'm just going to tell you right now, bro. To get into a home that you are going to be paying property taxes, let me just look at this really quickly. Give me a second. I want to just see something real quick. I can't do it, bro. I can't do it, bro. I just can't, bro. I can't justify it. I can't justify it, bro. Home price 1.7 million. Let's say you got 100,000 to put down, 30-year fixed. You're going to be paying your mortgage is going to be $9,593 a month. Taxes is $1,000 a month, and home insurance is $100 a month, and your home could break down or burn down. And your home can burn down. If you buy a 1.7, let's say, for example, you put $340,000 down. And here, you know what the worst part about it is? If you put 20% down in order to avoid PMI, because you're still going to have to pay PMI, you put $340,000 down, you're going to be paying $9,249 a month, and you bet not lose your job, and you're going to be living in a 1,400 square foot shack. 1,400 square foot shack, and you got to make sure that your house don't burn down. I'm not doing this foolishness. You can miss me with this nonsense, bro. Nope. I'm not doing it. You are going to be out here dusty. I wonder how good that California weather is. Is it still weather? A $1.7 million house is the same as a $300,000 house in Milwaukee. Down payment, $64,000, 30-year fit. In Ohio. Or you can pay $1,800 a month and then just go visit whenever you want to. With the savings that you have. Right? The difference between $1,800 a month and $10,000 a month. With the savings, you can go and visit there. You can literally go and visit there every single month for 2 weeks straight. Your mortgage is $1,500, and then your taxes is $187 and $104 a month. I can't do it, bro. I'm just not built like that. I'm just not doing it. I refuse. But I know some of y'all is big. Y'all big dog. Go do your thing.
And also, I personally just like the security of a building. I don't think I would sleep very well at night in a single family house in LA. It's just a personal thing. I just know myself and I wouldn't. Single family houses do historically appreciate pretty well, like 4% a year, but condos and townhouses, not the same. In fact, Redfin's data showed in the last 5 years, condos only appreciated 0.7% per year, which is unusually low. I like to go in and look at the particular building I'm interested in and see how other units appreciated. Oftentimes, it was about 2 to 3% a year. Sometimes they lost money. If somebody bought in 2021 and was now trying to sell, they were losing money. So this was another realization I had was condos just are really not a great investment.
Never.
I have a real estate license, so I
tell y'all all the time, do not buy a condo. Anton, I want to get a condo out here in Florida. Man, look at this. Look at all of these buildings, man. Look at all of this water. Look at all of this. Man, if you don't sit your butt down, sit down. Big. Hey. Calm down. Calm down, doggy. I know you really want it. I know they keep telling you it's a great deal. Stop. Don't do it.
Worked in real estate a little bit. I've had some listings, and I had a listing and the owner owned the condo for 2 years and wanted to sell. They actually were going to lose money if they sold it. A lot of times the case with condos, I think people are disappointed with the appreciation not really being very good. This is something a lot of real estate agents won't tell you because they just want you to buy something to get the commission. But I'm a YouTuber first and foremost, so I don't really care. And so if you are living in a building, if you're going for that lifestyle like I am, you can usually
money, rent them for cheaper, and get a better return keeping that down payment in the stock market, you may end up in a better spot in, say, 5 years to buy a single family house instead. I could bore you guys with the numbers of this all day, but basically, buying could be an okay investment. You can make it make sense when you factor in the tax benefits more than anything. But the bigger thing was I couldn't find something in my price range I really was excited to buy and commit to for 5 to 10 plus years. The fact of the matter is the inventory in LA in the $1 million price range.
Look at that POS. Are y'all seeing that? Are you seeing the white stove and the white refrigerator with the handles that's been worn? It's so dusty over there, and the stuff is so out of control from a price perspective. They don't even change the appliances for y'all because they know that y'all gonna buy it anyway. Get the hell out of here, bro. Get the hell out of here, man. I'm not doing this. Nah, y'all good. Y'all good. That's the hood, bro. That's the hood. As far as I'm concerned, that ain't nothing but the hood. Nope. 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 I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, y'all, on your own. You know what my suggestion to y'all would be? Let me tell you what my suggestion is. Forget all of that nonsense. My suggestion to y'all would be to practice group economics and get married and live with somebody that you don't have to take care of, that actually likes to pull their weight, that adds value into the relationship, and go get you a roommate and go move back in with your parents. It's a fun, bro. Y'all need to fall back in love with your parents. Honest to God, you need to fall back in love. The same way that you're gonna do what you got to do for that guy that's busting you down because you know that he's still making sure that your bills is paid. You need to go fall back in love with your parents. Go fall back in love with your parents and start making better decisions, bro. Bruh. Honestly, start practicing group economics, save a bunch of money, throw the rest of it into the stock market, make smart investments. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. You need to get better friends that you don't mind living with. Honestly, bro, y'all need to start practicing. When we say practice group economics, we're not talking about you start your own business and you go out there and say, hey, man, I'm a black business. Come and support me. No, I'm talking about, hey, listen, man, it's cheaper for me to live. You know, I get a bedroom, you get a bedroom, and we split the costs. And long as you ain't got no pets in my room and stuff like that, we can figure it out, bro. All of these living standards is overrated. It's very, 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 very overrated. It's so overrated. But again, it's based off of your lifestyle. I'd rather travel, spend my money on traveling and investments. I'll buy a $500,000 house and be happy with that at my income level. I'm okay with buying a $500,000 house and getting the cars I want and the lifestyle that I want, because I'd rather do what's best for me and not what's best for everybody else, because I'm the only person that's got to live there. Give me a $500,000 house, I'm good. I'm good with that. I don't need nothing else. Give me something I know I'm going to use every room that's comfortable. I'm good with that. I don't need all of that. Somebody said, am I still live? Oh, you didn't know that we do almost 3 hours every day on the Millionaire Morning Show? We cook. We cook on the Millionaire Morning Show. We cook here. All right, that's why we winning. Let me go ahead and read some of y'all super chats, and I'm going to get y'all up out of here since y'all want to go so bad. Make sure y'all tap into the Q Show tonight at 10 o'clock. 8 o'clock, I'm going to be on Fresh and Fit, and so that's going to be popping. Let me make sure I read everything. I don't want to miss nobody. Shout out to A. Wyatt says for the sec. Thank you, A. Wyatt. I appreciate you because I only had $1 in my savings. Spencer Campbell, I appreciate you. Of course, Mike, that dude. Thank you for holding me down. Terry Rat Ray says contribution to the Anton Savings Fund. Every dollar counts. Thank you for that $1. Maria says demons don't want to be moved for real. They see their territory. Shout out to Maria Porti. And Rand Wilson says Hamtramck councilman charged with election fraud. Huh. Or you sent that to me so I can see if that's worth having a conversation about. Read some of the super chats. Mally Mal Gaming. What up, Mally Mal? I appreciate you for Fireball. Chris Monroe says, no way 800K for 2 bed, 2 bath. You can build 2 houses and have money left over. This is why I love Midwest is where it's at. A lot of people already missing out, though. Wesley Turner says, Grant Cardone says, rent where you live, own where you rent. He's right. A lot of people don't like Grant Cardone, but Grant Cardone got some gems. If you can sort through the stuff that you don't care for or remove how you feel about him away from whether or not he gives great information, that's what you need to look for. A lot of people don't realize Grant Cardone, dude, he be having the gems, and that's true. Nichelle says, when is Block Club? Stock Club this week, Block Club next week. Stock Club is this week, Block Club is next week, all right? All right? All right, that's it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to see y'all tonight. Let's get it. Let me see if I missed anything. All right, cool. Yep. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. I love y'all. Aaliyah, I didn't see your message either. Did you send it to the wrong person? I don't know.